Y'all ever actually total up how much all your subscriptions cost? Most folks think it's only $80, but the actual total cost is closer to $200. If you don't know how much you're spending, you need RocketMoney. RocketMoney, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. RocketMoney will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want or don't use. All you got to do is find the subscription you don't want, hit cancel, and then RocketMoney will take care of the rest. No need to stay on the line with someone or go back and forth with emails. Let me tell you, your boy definitely forgot about some subscriptions that I had with RocketMoney, and I was able to see what they were and just how much I had been throwing away. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bomb. That's rocketmoney.com/bomb. rocketmoney.com/bomb.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Giant Bombcast on this Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Get excited because boy, oh boy, do we have a surprise cast for you on the world's most important video game podcast. My name is Jeff Bakalar. I'm joined, as always, on the Bombcast by Jeff Grubb. How are you, Jeff Grubb?
I'm doing good. I've been reeling since Joe Biden said we were the most important video game podcast. I mean, listen, when he gave us the medal, I thought we deserved it, but still, it's been a lot. It's been overwhelming.
He declared it a national holiday as well,
Every
which is
Tuesday
always
now.
a
You don't have
special,
to work anymore because the Bombcast. You're welcome.
which is always a special coincidence for anyone hosting a podcast. Up next. It's been a long time. Who knows the last time Matt Rorie has been on the podcast, but he is here, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Rorie, what's up, buddy?
Clearing out the backbenches. Third stringers showing up. I'm here.
Listen, he's a 6
I think we have more than one bench. What are you talking about?
Good to be back. Good here to talk about video games and I guess wrestling. I guess I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
I'm hosting
MJF?
today.
Okay,
Nope.
good.
I'm hosting today. There's no wrestling talk, only if it's 1990s era ECW and nothing more than that. But what we will have on
Backlard,
this
you can comment
Bombcast-
on this though, because MJF is the greatest Jewish wrestler of all time. I think you can actually say that.
What is that? You think we're all in like some club and we have some sort of like wait a minute. What we will have, aside from hockey talk, is also Mike Minotti on the program today. What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm good. I think I have a lot of aches last couple days. I got like really cold. I hope I'm sick and not just like getting old. I hope these aren't permanent things.
Please, nobody wish for themselves to be sick. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because this fucking system is fucking bullshit. Okay?
Wait,
I don't want to go on
the
a
health
socialist
system?
rant right now, but I'm going to go on
Okay.
a socialist rant right now.
Let's do it.
See,
What?
do it.
What?
Well, I look. I don't want to draw any ire, but like my dad's a doctor, so a lot of that stuff is relatively easy for me.
Oh, so it hits real close to home.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I just got off the phone with like an insurance company. And
It was a pleasant experience?
I just don't understand like what kind of person goes around and is like, yo, the system we have in place is fucking great. And everything we do for healthcare is fucking fantastic.
Nobody. But then if you complain, then the boomers are like, we invented this system. We love it. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so perhaps this is too much information, but I need a little context of background. Okay. I know I'm in good company, so everyone will listen.
Yeah, please.
I had a minor surgery a couple weeks ago. Okay. I'm fine. Everything's cool.
Had your hip replaced?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're getting older.
I had both my hips, 4 knees, all replaced.
Wait a second.
Okay. Everything's fine. Okay, everything's fine. We're all good. I just got like a little, cut that has to heal. I'm okay. But my surgeon is like, yo, you should use this cream because this cream is going to make your wound heal faster. Nobody likes walking around with a big old hole in their back. How about you take some of this cream, you put it all over the wound, and it's going to heal real fast. And I'm like,
Jerry, the best cream.
I'm like, Doc, that sounds great. He goes, your insurance will never cover it. I was like, what? What are we even having this conversation about? He goes, look, it's really expensive. I have to approve it. They're going to call me and they're going to approve it. And then they're going to argue with me. And I'm going to say he needs it. And they're going to say, we don't want to pay anything because we're a for-profit company. Okay. And part of our job is not covering medical coverage. They don't want to do that. They don't want to cover your shit.
It's in their interest to not pay for help.
Exactly. And this is what you get, right? So they're like, oh, well, the drug is investigational. What the fuck does that mean?
Investigational?
What
like a Columbo? What does that mean?
And why are they allowed to overrule my fucking surgeon? How is that okay?
Yeah.
Why are they like, we know better. Bakalar's fucking back is going to heal just fine with good old thyme and love and tender and soap. Okay? Fuck that shit. If you support that, fuck you. I hope you don't get sick. And I'm not even that fucking sick. I'm going to be fine. What about some poor schmuck who's not going to be fine? Okay?
I just wish Bakalar could get creamed. That's all that I've always wished for.
All I want is to get creamed.
He's going to get cream pied like Greg Miller.
Yeah, listen, I didn't want to just say it, but yeah, I'm glad
I'll
you
say
did.
it.
I'm glad you did.
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
Y'all get cream pied.
I'm sorry about your cream. It does suck. Like it's a bad system. You're right. Someone should do something about it. And then you try to do something about it, and people get real weird. People get real mad.
There's a whole
They're
thing.
I just who's the person who's like, no, this is good for profit healthcare. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Well, they don't want the government coming between you and your doctor. They want the insurance company to do that. Literally just the insurance company instead. That's way more fun.
Company good. Companies.
Yeah.
It's so funny when you talk to even the doctor who's just like, yeah, it's all fucked. I'm about to retire and I just
no
hope
one
I don't get
pretends
sick.
anymore. Like all the doctors just like, no, of course this sucks.
They know.
Yeah, everyone knows.
My doctor from Kaiser said a couple years ago, I had a GP over there, a really nice young lady, and she just said, hey, I'm moving on. Sorry, got one of those mass emails. She showed up in a goddamn Philip Morris ad 3 months later, live.
Where are there Philip Morris ads?
They were trying to do the props in California. I don't know, anti-banning flavored cigarettes or something. She was like, actually flavored cigarettes are the best kind for kids or something like that. It was insane.
Oh, that grift is so sick, though. You gotta respect that kind of grift. Though.
I know. It was just I was a little disappointed, going for. I get you make the easy money, but also trying to sell tobacco to. I don't know. It was one of those anti-kid tobacco flavored tobacco things, and it was like, hey, that's my what the shit. Oh my god, how bad. What should I go back and look over every recommendation? That 11 units of alcohol a week, don't worry about it, it's fine.
No, please, Rorie, anytime you feel the need, you should.
I'm gonna yell.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so before we started, Bakalar, you noticed that it looked like I did my hair. I took a shower, I got out, and I put some pomade in my hair because I'm in that weird phase already where it looks odd if I just let it go. Before, when it's long, I just let it go. That's one of the best things about being long, for me anyhow, is I'm supposed to look wild and crazy. That's what the hair is supposed to do. In the in-between stage, I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I look like my mom. I just look exactly like my mom.
Cool.
So, yeah, but at least your headphones are going to smell good for a week now.
Exactly. So I put some pomade in there, and now it just looks like it's my third grade picture day is what I look like. I look like I'm a real, I made myself up, and I'm going to look real handsome for my pictures. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with hair. I've never known. It's always been a bad situation up there.
I feel like first
I don't know why I'm talking to you guys.
First thing I was gonna say is fucking cry me a river. Number one. Number two, I have noticed that. Okay, if I could just speak freely, I have noticed that you seem to just kind of not know what to do. Sometimes when it was really long, it was in a bun. You would just let it loose, right, Mike? You know what I'm talking about? It was just sort of unruly in a way that
yeah, Grubb's a mess.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I get it. Mess is sort of like his unofficial
That's right,
middle
sure.
name. But I just feel like, yeah, you were always all over the place with like, what exactly is this going to do today? And I also feel like the sort of like state of your hair also perfectly resembled that day's personality too.
Yes, totally. Now it's just a bit poofy, and I'd say I'm never
Bit poofy.
poofy. That's never my attitude.
Oh, you're plenty poofy.
You think I'm
Don't
poofy?
say this in the UK, guys.
Well, what's
man.
that mean?
It probably means butthole. Everything over there means butthole.
Everything. Oh, that means butthole or sperm and butthole
Yes,
together.
sperm and
Thanks.
butthole.
Wait a minute.
For your education, it is a homophobic slur in the UK. So
We were saying
Wow,
poof.
way worse.
you're American. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's still like, what the
I'm
fuck,
red.
man?
I'm cultured. I can't help it. I got.
I know all the slurs from all the countries.
And I'll go through them all right now. All right. Any Rory, you got something you want to get off your chest? Anyone else have something they want to get off their chest before we get into the games here?
Nothing too crazy. Just rainy, rainy and weird. And my internet has been going out. So if I ever just freeze, then I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I got to reset my modem. It's been really bad lately.
We also might lose Mike later because he's got a thing. He's like sparing his time for us. Thank you, Mike. And then also Jan's
You're
out on assignment. So
I might disappear for like 20 minutes at some point, but don't worry.
right, Jan
Yeah.
will probably be back next week. If not, he'll be out on assignment again. So that's what's going on with us, everybody. Thanks for asking.
Hope Jan's assignment gets better.
Absolutely
Fast.
very quickly.
Mike, what you got? Like a karate lesson? What's going on?
I wish. My nephew does karate, and it's the best because he's like 5, and they do like their karate test every month to get their new belt. And it's the same test every time. They like do like their bad karate moves, and they scream, and then like the teacher like grabs their wrist, and they like shove them away and say, "Don't touch me, chest, nose." And then they get a new belt. And I love it every time. It's hilarious.
That's martial arts. That's what Bruce Lee wanted when he invented martial arts.
Chest, nose.
Yep. That's beautiful.
That's the order I hit people in. Okay. It's time for some video games. All right. There's not a lot of new shit out there. I mean, let's admit
Yeah.
what the truth is, right? Like there's just
Yeah.
not a lot of shit.
I mean,
Finally, a quiet week.
it's a slightly more quiet week in what has been a very busy year so far, right? Like if you want to catch up on stuff, there's been a lot of stuff in the past couple of weeks, but this week in particular, it's like, I mean, we talked about Will Long last week, and that's kind of what's new this week and stuff like that. So, yeah, but I mean, I did kind of take a breather and was like playing some other stuff I did want to catch up on a little bit. So, yeah, I guess I'm right there with you.
All right, so what have you been catching up on, Mr. Grubb?
Yes, Steamworld Build. This is a demo that came out a while ago, and I've been meaning to get to it. And it is from, as the name implies, from the Steamworld team over at Thunderful. And it is it's a city builder with a little bit of Steamworld dig to it, in that it has 2 layers. It has the surface where you build basically a sim city, and everything's interconnected. And if you want to build that building, it's probably going to need something from this other building. And you got to make sure they're connected. And if they're not connected, you can put a warehouse between them, and that'll connect them. So it's like, just a standard city builder, and that's fun. Where it really kind of takes off is when you go to the underground layer, and you need to be mining stuff from underneath there and bringing that up to the surface. And so you're managing these 2 things simultaneously, and they have different needs and different mechanics. Where whereas the first floor layer is, you're building this sim city. The second layer, you are basically telling little guys to go dig, and you can as you clear out this mine and clear out more spaces, and it's just like block based, like, oh, this tile, clear that of rock and dirt, and then you can move on. Once you clear enough space, you can say this is going to be a little room for one of the little guys down there, and another little guy could come down and be a digger. And as you end up mining this out, you kind of push up against what's possible to mine in the first place, and before you need more tools. And then that brings you back up to the surface, where it's like, okay, we have all these resources we're bringing up. How can we use these resources to improve the town so we can create better tools, so then we can go back underground and dig even further? And I'm like, oh, that loop really just makes sense in my head right away. And like Steamworld Dig 2, which has had, I think, one of the best loops in any games ever, I think they've kind of taken that and applied it to a whole other genre. And I'm already falling in love with this game. So, and it's, only a demo. It's coming out, I think, later this year. But man, they really, really figured it out, I think.
I got to be honest, this looks so complicated. Oh my god, I'm looking at screenshots. Like, there's like how many resources? Like 6?
Yeah,
Holy mackerel!
I think it's
7.
what happens
That's
is yeah, no, it's a lot, but what happens is you're never juggling a bunch of them at one time. You are one feeds into the other, and then feeds into the other, and it goes back to that loop. So it's yeah, like you need to make a building to make moonshine, and you need the moonshine to feed the saloon, and you need the saloon to keep the engineers happy. And you get engineers by turning regular workers into engineers, by turning their quarters from a regular home into an engineer home. And it's like, okay, so I mean, again, it's this big circle feeding into one another, and it is complicated. But once you go through the path once, it all makes sense. And once you get it set up, it's a linear setup. It's like you need to do this, then this, then this, then this. And as you're doing these things, they exist. So they begin feeding into one another automatically. And so, okay, well, how do I expand? How do I build on top of this? Well, here's a new mechanic, and that's going to feed into everything as well.
That's crazy. It sounds like you're building modern San Francisco, where saloons make the engineers work on websites.
That's exactly how they phrased it. Like, basically they're like, this makes the world go round.
Can you pause this game?
Yes.
Like, can you slow down time? Because it seems like a lot for me to handle.
Yes, you can. And also at the normal speed it was going at, I felt like I had all the time in the world. There is this interesting system where you can get perks for your buildings, and these perks come on the train after you repair the train station. And that is sort of on a timer. And once the new train comes, it'll give you 3 more perks that you could purchase if you want. And then you have like 10, 15 minutes of real world time to decide if you want to buy one of those, see if you can get the money to buy one of them. And then the train might come again and replace those 3. Or if you buy one of them, well, then you only have 2 in the store until the train comes again and puts a new set of 3 in there. So, and that's one of the things that felt like it had time pressure on it. Everything else sort of felt like, do it at your leisure. It's fine. You're not going to like suddenly, there's no ticking clock that is going to say things are going to fall apart for you. At least it's not as far as I can tell.
Cool. This whole genre is having a bit of a comeback, isn't it? The city builder, not to give away the news later, but there's more city skylines. It seems kind of like it's about time, right?
It's about time. I mean, we were like, Dan was just like playing City Skyline in VR, and then he's like, well, now I kind of want to just go check this out on PC. He's been playing City Skyline on his own time. And so, I think people are just ready for this genre again, to have another go at it. And SimCity still feels like they're never going to really do that again, at least not anytime soon.
Still reeling.
Right, exactly.
Rated my stream after he was playing City Skylines, and he told me he named a dump after me. And I thought he meant he took a shit and named it Mitch Tolkoto, but he means like the place where garbage goes.
Sure,
he named that after me.
Yes,
which I guess was also insulting, but seemed better.
Yeah, that's nice of him.
Yeah, really, it's really thoughtful. I mean, listen, I'm sure that some real life dumps have names on them. Do you think people? Yeah.
Dumps have names.
Yeah, sure they do.
I don't think they're named in like honor of people.
Temporary.
I think you're right though. I think this genre is like ready to come back with the fury. And I think a lot of people realize at the same time, EA's not going to do another SimCity. No. We should just make our own. And then also people are like, City Skylines is doing its thing, but it's not going to be the only game in that space. We could do something too. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I can't wait for it to come out. I love the Steamworld games. Some of them are some of my favorite games of all time. Other ones are just, that's a really solid, like a 2D tactical game, or the card, the deck building game. It's just a really solid deck building game. But they don't have anything sort of below that tier. Everything is at least really good to all time great. And I think this is like leaning towards that latter category. So I'm excited.
Is Skylines like the closest thing to SimCity we have?
Yeah, and it's also had so much support because they put out, I don't know what, 20 DLC packs or something like that, and so it just has everything you want, and it has all the modding support as well, I think. So people have been able to turn it into the exact game they want at this point. Yeah,
it is crazy how, I guess, sort of like abandoned that franchise had become with EA. I mean, I remember when they like redid it, but
yeah. People
it is wild, right?
I reviewed SimCity for, I think,
Ska. You reviewed Ska? What'd you give it?
Shack News, I think. I didn't mind it as much as some people did. I don't know why.
It's a fine game that just had all the it was just its structure that was real messed up in terms of like limiting the city size and things like that.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it's bizarre because SimCity is like, I think people played that on S. Was there an NES version of SimCity or SNES?
SNES.
Yes, the Super
Apparently it's a
Nintendo
beloved
version
classic.
is. I love that game. It's the first time I played SimCity. I
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it.
The worst holiday ever was asking for SimCity 2000 and getting SimCity like 3.5 or whatever it was. They just, my parents did that thing, man. They got the Wii U instead of the Wii or whatever. That was a bad one. So I hate SimCity because of that. No,
I'm so
you go.
sorry. SimCity
Thanks, Rory's
2013
parents.
had it's okay. Had a really great soundtrack. Shout out to Chris Tilton, who might be listening. Hello,
You guys
Chris.
ever played the Anno games?
No, I never did. I know people really like those
Oh,
though.
right.
Yeah, I just bought Anno, the latest one, 1800. It was on
Those
sale.
are-
I played the one before that from 2015, Anno 2205. I don't know, you would say that future date. They're fun because they're city builders, but also real-time strategy games. But you can kind of like turn off the RTS stuff so you don't have people attacking you constantly, which is usually my least favorite part
Yeah.
about RTS games.
Those are Ubisoft games. Right?
It's Ubisoft, which is weird because it's like it's the one thing that never turned into Assassin's Creed of theirs, right?
Yeah, I think I fooled around with some of those when I had Uplay Plus briefly, and I don't know. City builders are just really anxious for me. Like I get really nervous about building something wrong and having to go back and tear it up and
Sure.
running out of resources. I don't like games where you have to really juggle resources all that much.
Mhm.
If I just give me a gun, let me shoot it.
The thing
Fair
about Steamworld Build, there's a move button. You can move anything at any time, no penalty. It was very cool.
That's good. That's
Yes,
good. That'd
I
be like
really
a good
appreciated
kind
that.
of easy mode kind of thing. Just like, hey, just don't worry about. Just make something cool, looks cool, runs well, and if you want to move shit around, just it's a fantasy, anyways.
Yeah, that's been another sort of a trend in this this wider genre is there's Civ 6 and there's all these other 4X games that are trying to be exactly like Civ, and then there is the what if Civ but without any war? What if you just kind of made a civilization and it was like
Yeah.
super chill? Like there's
Yes,
like
please.
yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of those games, and then this morning I got an email saying, oh yeah, people talk about City Skylines too. Well, how about city building? But it's like even chiller. And that I'm like trying to find the game in my email, but it's like, oh yeah, that does sound interesting. And it's like these little small villages. I'm like,
Yeah,
I might be in the mood for a game like that.
People are talking a lot about Terra Nil as well, which I guess is coming out later this month. That's a Devolver game where you're kind of like doing ecology reshaping rather than building cities. You're trying to make the ecology like self-sustaining and more ecologically sound. It looks really neat. I'm
Right.
curious to take that out later this month.
I checked out that demo during the last year's like E3 time when they had that on Steam, and it was pretty cool. But it's like, but it didn't click me. It didn't hook me instantly, so I never checked it out again. But people seem to really like it now since it's out in full.
There's
That's
that
neat.
indie one not too long ago where it was like an airship, but also a city that you built. So like your city had to kind of move around,
My bad. Ignore
and
that.
it seemed pretty
Oh.
neat.
There was one where you're on the back of a creature too, and you're trying to build like a little village up there, and you're trying to keep the monster happy as well. I forget. I don't know the names of games anymore because my brain has basically been taken over by
Gosh.
caffeine and sugar. But yeah, it's a interestingly thriving little genre now.
Yeah.
For glad if you like it, then hey, maybe go check some of these games out here that we're talking about.
I'm in the mood for it big time. I'm gonna be playing some Anno soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out. It's Outlanders is this game that I was trying to think of. I'm gonna bring it up here so people can see.
Airborne Kingdom is the one I was talking about, by the way. Thank you, bro. for
Airborne
reminding
Kingdom,
me.
right? Yes, I've heard people talk about that as well. So yeah,
This looks very chill. I don't know how I feel about this arts. This is like the go-to like
What,
chill game art style.
right. You know what this is now, right? I mean, it's Goose Game. It's
Yeah.
everything's like, oh, Goose Game won Game of the Year at Dice. It's okay to kind of. I mean, listen, if this is a way to get a cool looking game out that saves some money, I'm for it. I'm not
Sure.
I'm not hateful like you are.
No, but yeah, I mean, we all know how my heart's just filled with hate
Yes,
and rage. Look,
it's
it wouldn't
just-
turn me away completely, but it's a point against it.
All right, fair
Yeah.
enough. A short hike, yeah, a short hike as well, totally.
All right, Grubb, what else you playing? Wait, can I? What? Magalor's Epilogue?
Yeah, Magalor's Epilogue.
What's that?
That is the new stuff. One of the new things in Kirby's Return to Dreamland
Oh,
Deluxe.
okay.
And I unlocked it by beating the game with my kids, and then we got Magalor's Epilogue, where you play as Magalor, who is basically like the floating magician that would help you in the main game, and you're trying to help him by putting his ship back together, Toe Jam and Earl style. It's similar to the base game in that you can have 4 people playing, so another little good multiplayer game on the Switch to play with kids. But it's different in that everyone plays as Magalor, and it's the powers isn't about sucking up enemies and getting their powers. It's got like just a light RPG upgrade path mechanic. So like you got skill trees.
Tree?
There's a skill tree, and it's pretty easy to get the coins or whatever to unlock these skills. And it's like, oh yeah. So basically, he just starts out with a really crappy jump, a really crappy like lightning bolt that he could shoot at people, and you get the ability to shoot the lightning bolt further and to dash and to have a double jump that kind of feels a little bit like Yoshi's double jump. It's
the flutter.
Yeah, the flutter. It's neat. It's cool. My kids, I don't know how, love Magalore. They decided even before this game was in their hands, probably from playing the demo and seeing the cinematics that would play. They decided, no, we are super into Magalore. Dad, get me a Magalore toy. And I'm like, listen, I don't think they make those, but
I gotta build one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Etsy
I think
and
the
talk
Kirby
to somebody.
freaks like Magalore a lot. I think they're big into Magalore because this is an older game.
Right.
Not to give anything away, but Magalore has a complex storyline in this game,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
He had some face turns and heel turns along the way.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he definitely does. They love that though, because that was that was
Lot of
similar to Kirby in the Forgotten Land, where Elfilin is their best friend, and then at the end, Elfilin, not to spoil anything, is the big boss at the end, and they love that. They're like, oh, we're gonna set Elfilin free.
It's the Vegeta.
Yeah,
That's why
Vegeta.
everyone loves that.
Yeah, kids love Vegeta.
It's like when you're a kid, all you know about is heroes. Then you found out about a hero who did a bad once.
Right.
And the complexity.
And then you find out what it really means to be Mondo cool.
Mondo cool. That's right.
Yeah, we've been playing that, and it's been enjoyable. It's it's obviously this tacked on thing. It really feels that way. It feels almost like in terms of not the production quality, but the overall feel of the production, it feels like what you might get from a really, really good Flash game. It's like, oh yeah, this Flash game has a skill tree in it. Yeah, I mean it as both a compliment and an insult. For me, it's like, oh, I could see through this. My kids, they're like, no, this is just more stuff, Dad. What do you think? This is great. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's just play it.
So it's no Bowser's Fury.
It's definitely no Bowser's Fury.
Come on.
Absolutely not. Nothing. I mean, what is?
What is? Sure, sure.
Very good. I want to pivot over to Rorie.
Hello.
Rorie, you are up to your neck in Returnal for PC.
Fucking love it. It's amazing. It's so good. It's one of my favorite games in the last year or so. I've been playing a shitload of it. I've been playing streams. I don't think I've archived all the streams that I've been playing. I actually went back from Returnal PC to Returnal PS5 to complete all the little weapon upgrades. I've done everything in the game. I love it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Holy shit. I love Returnal. That's why I've been streaming a little bit of it. I'm going to stream the end of that game sometime this week, probably just pop in. Probably just be, whenever I have time. I haven't, like I said, been recording and putting up on the site. Sorry. They should be archived up on Twitch. Kind of one-offs. Kind of like I've already beaten the game multiple times. I'm kind of just running through it real quick. I'm really good at it. I'm actually one of the top Returnal players in the world.
Wow.
So what's that mean?
I don't know. I've beaten the end game. I've beaten the Tower of Sisyphus, which is probably a pretty rare trophy.
Beat the Tower of Syphilis.
Nice,
I did.
Man.
I've been really interested in that game on PC. I was bugging people for review codes for that, but well before it came out because
that's right. I do recall some sort of psychotic.
I might want to play Returnal on PC because my only bummer is that it's pretty hitchy and frame ratey. Of all the games that you don't want to have a lot of hitches and frame rate drops, it's probably that one. So the PC version, it's easier to stream than the PS5 version, which is why I've been streaming a little bit of it. But I've been writing a little blog post about Returnal's plot, which is you can totally ignore the whole thing if you want to. It doesn't really have much bearing on how the game plays, but it is one of the weirdest goddamn narratives. I keep on forgetting the words for Lynchian. Nothing's very made clear. It's all very kind of hinted at, and there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in that game. You're in another galaxy, but also you're having flashbacks to playing a PS5 as a kid. So the time frame was really, really weird. I love that game a lot, and I kind of I played through the entire thing on my PC, and then I was like, I should boot it back up on PS5, which I just started playing in January, a month ago. So I think that game is exceptional. And if when you have me on the Bombcast, I'm going to talk my favorite fucking thing, and it's Returnal. I love it.
Hell
Everybody should play it. A little hard. Not as hard as I think people make it out to be. I beat most of the bosses one try. It's if you get a good weapon and know what's coming up.
That was actually my issue with it, Rorie, is that it's hard until you get the right weapon, and then it's not. And then
Yeah, Jeff hated it and got a lot of flack. Did you know that?
Yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Got a lot of people very mad at me. But that's 3 out of 5 because it's a good game. That's a good score for a good game. It is like once you get that good weapon, then you go to another run and you're like, oh, now I have a weapon that's not as good, but it's not like it's fun in an interesting, different way. I'm just waiting to get another good weapon again. Yeah, that was my biggest issue with it.
Yeah, some of those weapons are bad. Like the shotgun barely is usable for most of the game. There's a bunch of like little rocket launcher kind of weapons, like the coal spine shooter and the rot glob or whatever they're called, that are not super good to use or really fun to me. But there's like 10 of them, so you can kind of flip it up a little bit. But yeah, Returnal PC. I just wish it was a slightly better port. Obviously, Returnal was built for like the PS5. I'm sure it was not originally made for PS5. It was probably ported up and made exclusive at some point in development. But with the SSD in there being like instant travel, all that kind of stuff, like the PC is noticeably a lot more hitchier once you go through like a warp when it's trying to load everything, even on an SSD. So yeah, it's I wish I could recommend the PC version wholeheartedly. Like I have a 3080 and a fast SSD, and like
fancy.
My chip's relatively recent. So I was disappointed that it didn't like. Maybe they'll fix it with some.
That is surprising.
Drivers, yeah. It was way worse before it came out. I was playing like the week before it hit, and before that, NVIDIA did the drivers. It was noticeably worse. So hopefully they can improve it over time. But yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend Returnal. Even if you want to buy it on Steam and give it a couple hours, like I have probably played like 130 hours of that game between the PS5 and the PC at this point. I've just been like obsessed with it. It's amazing. It's great.
I kind of want to see what it's like on Steam Deck, but I know it does work on there, but I wonder if it's just too compromised.
The thing about it, well, I mean, I've been playing with controller even on PC, but the people who have gotten it set up with mouse and keyboard, it seems like that's might be a really way to go, because you can the aim assist is really generous on controller, but stuff like snapping around really quickly, like doing a 360 or 180, as I guess it is, math bullshit. Doing that kind of stuff, especially if you're like doing a grappling hook and trying to turn around and shoot somebody below you. Like I do that all the time, especially the bigger boss fights. That stuff seems like it'd be much easier with mouse and keyboard. But I don't know. I know we're going to talk about Steam Deck later. I have thoughts on that too. I don't have one, so I can't try it.
Yeah, I mouse and keyboard was always the thing. I'm like, man, this game's gonna rule with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
so I still intend to play it.
Yeah, it's weirdly it has just weird binds. I found it's kind of like Atomic Heart had really shitty mouse and keyboard binds for whatever reason. Like the first thing you do in Atomic Heart is like left alt for scanning. Like who binds stuff to left?
It was also wasn't it like a double click or something?
That was just one, but then you had that thing where you had to hold down F to like open up stuff automatically, and trying to hit F and D at the same time, trying to strafe was like impossible. I don't know who made those mouse and keyboard binds for Atomic Heart and thought they were useful, but yeah, Returnal PC, try it out. It's or buy a PS5 and buy that for Returnal because it's worth it. $500, $600 is fine. I love Returnal. I love it. It's great.
He loves it. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Minotti.
Yo.
You've got quite the tandem here. What games you been playing, bud?
I haven't been playing Wo Long. I tried that out. I know, it's kind of been talked about, but I've been having fun with that. I'm not the biggest Souls guy in the world. I liked Elden Ring a lot, but like some of the other ones, like I played Sekiro for a bit and then fell off. I beat Bloodborne. It feels like a lot of people beat Bloodborne and it becomes like one of their favorite games of all time. I beat Bloodborne and I was like, that was nice, and kind of moved on with my life.
I'm just glad
I beat Bloodborne on a stream
this.
one time. It was great. Everybody remembers that.
I liked it. So maybe I'm a bad person, so I'm getting at. But yeah, I mean, I am enjoying Wo Long. The combat feels very good. I do like having sort of parry be a thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the dodge roll. Dodge rolling's great. I love to be a dodge roll boy in Elden Ring. But it is nice really being all about that parry timing.
Who's this boss that everybody's talking about? He's also in Dynasty Warriors or something.
Really?
I've seen a lot of memes going around about this one boss.
Is it Lubu?
Lubu. The guy on the horse, I guess?
Lubu. But it's the first boss 10 minutes in. It is Lubu?
Dynasty Warriors. Apparently, everybody's been talking about this one guy in Dynasty Warriors who's terrible. And then he's also in Wo Long as a really hard early boss. So I'm assuming
there's like this boss in like the first boss is pretty difficult.
Oh, it's a real human being. Okay, that's
well,
fun.
yeah. Yeah, this stuff's I think this is all based off the Three Kingdom stuff, just like
Yeah.
Wow.
Dynasty Warriors and what have you. So yeah, I mean
Okay.
that's kind of the thing. And one thing I really like about Elden Ring is how kind of low key a lot of that story and stuff is. And here you actually have like cutscenes where a guy shows up on a horse and he's swinging a weapon around, and whoa, isn't this cool? And it's not. And I don't care. And just let me get back to it. And then you have the bad voice acting and all that stuff. But when you're playing the game, it's a lot of fun. I like the sort of smaller levels and how kind of light and neatly packed they all feel. It has a good flow to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it all the way through.
What are you playing on?
Xbox Series X actually, so
Okay.
it's running really good there. I heard the PC version's a bit borked.
I know Gershon was tweeting about it too, and he said that he just kind of, you can buy your way out of the PC, but it's mostly negative on Steam right now with 11,000 reviews. So.
Yeah, it's getting kind of crushed on Steam. A lot of there's other games like that, but this one seems especially bad on PC, which is rough. I thought we were past this, and then there's been like one game after another just having really bad PC ports. Honestly, this is I think the second Team Ninja game in a row. What was the other one recently that they had?
Stranger of Paradise, did that have a bad PC port?
I thought that was okay.
I thought that was okay too. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but yeah.
No, I mean the Final Fantasy games. This is a different publisher, but like Final Fantasy 7
Wild Hearts.
remake.
Thank you, Christian. It was Wild Hearts.
Yeah,
that's not Team
Ninja. 7 remake was also like a bare bone. It ran okay, but it was a bare bones fucking PC port. Like,
yeah, I remember.
barely had resolution settings in there or something like that. It was noticeably underdone. And I get you're spending a lot of money for a PC port. Obviously, but Square is not really doing that too well. Like Final Fantasy 15 was also kind of iffy on I mean, they're Japanese developers. I don't think they always put a huge amount of effort into the PC ports, but who knows? Wolong looked interesting. It's I think I'm a little burned out on Soul stuff right now too, but
Sure.
If the PC version comes around, maybe I'll try it out. Or gets better.
It is one of those things that's nice that's on Game Pass because it makes it
Oh
pretty
yeah,
easy for me
true.
to try
Man,
out.
the best thing you can hear these days.
Not on PC, man. PC Game Pass is still a fucking mess.
Yeah,
to me
it's
at least.
just not 1-to-1. I hear you, man, and I just it's almost like it's not so much the Epic Game Store, but it's more PC Game Pass. It's like on its own island, and I like forget I have that app.
Me too.
All the time.
Me too.
And I'm just
Epic.
like,
I mean, all these things have different problems. I mean, my problem with the PC Game Pass, which I've talked about before, is that a lot of games just break suddenly if they're not like on the C drive. I wound up, I've told this story before, but I wound up buying a Halo Infinite and Forza on Steam, like full price, so I didn't have to have them on Game Pass because that app is just so crashing.
I know I've been having better luck with PC Game Pass recently.
I think it's getting better for sure.
Right, but I mean, I remember like Jason would have issues like for years, like having that account issues. And they never, ever really fixed it for him, which was like, I had those same issues for a long time, but I was able to like merge my accounts somehow. And so that saved it for me.
The story that I heard, and this is probably just rumors and innuendo and not actually real, but what I heard was that they were building out Game Pass, the Xbox app on PC. They were like asked to do it on the PC store on Windows, which is, made to sell like solitaire and little apps and things like that. And Game Pass, they didn't want to like reinvent the wheel for a storefront, so they were asked to do it on whatever if you type in store into your Windows bar, that's kind of what pops up. And apparently that was one of the causes of a lot of problems. Like I was so baffled when I tried some PC Game Pass games, like Master Chief Collection. If it wasn't installed on the C drive for like the whole 100 gigs, it just would suddenly stop launching, and you have to reinstall it or uninstall and reinstall the entire thing. Luckily, I don't have a data cap, but if I did, I would have been pretty pissed at that.
Yeah, that's frustrating. But I mean, like, I don't know. It's like it's got Atomic Heart right now. It's got like there's reason if you have it, you should be using it. Wulong, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely It's definitely gotten better.
Yeah,
it definitely has been. I need to get the one thing I've been wanting to play for a while is Immortals Phoenix Rising, which I used to have on Uplay Plus, but. All the Uplay stuff like syncs up with Uplay from Game Pass, so it actually had my whole save in there from like 2 years ago when I reinstalled it on Game Pass, which is really nice. Like that kind of stuff is really nice to have for like $10-15 a month. But it has been getting better. But that initial impression I had like a couple of years ago when I finally installed it on the Xbox app was so negative, and I spent so much more money like trying to fix the problems I had with Game Pass that I'm still a little biased against it. But hey. it'll get there eventually. Hopefully, it's there right now, and I'm just being a cranky old bastard.
It took me a second. Like, wait, which one's Immortals? Phoenix Rising? Oh, that's the one that was Gods and Monsters, and then
Yes.
yeah,
Like a
Gods
little
Monsters.
Zelda-y too, right? Like-
People,
it's a
it's
fun
good.
game. I've never played a game that was so ruined by its bad attempts to be funny before.
It gets better as it goes, but yeah, it's there was a lot of weird Greek god humor. But I don't like narrators in a lot of games.
Yeah.
And you have like Zeus and whatever his name is.
I wish
like,
that game had a
Prometheus.
mod where you could replace Zeus and who was it?
Prometheus.
If you could replace them with Bubsy and Gex,
Yep.
and just
yep.
have
There you
them
go.
argue
That's
with one
comedy.
another.
The
That's-
request
exactly.
of a
That's what's really
psychopath.
funny.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
I need it.
That's what
I
that
need
is. Now that I'm scrolling through the Game Pass PC thing, I'm sort of like, oh my god, they got a lot of fucking shit on here,
Mhm.
I mean,
including the
it's growing.
SimCity Ultimate version.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, that's the thing they said. Like for them, pretty much everyone who's going to get Game Pass on consoles getting it, and as they sell more Xboxes, more people are getting it. But mostly the growth they're seeing is 300% growth in PC Game Pass, and it's probably because it's taken them a long time to really build up those numbers. But
Yeah.
that's where all their growth is coming from. So I think they're going to keep making it better.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they ever put it into Steam, like in the way that EA Play is on Steam. I wonder if Game
that'd
Pass
be-
ever goes on Steam.
That would be. I mean,
Be great because I have a
to
Steam
me,
Deck
it's in
and
their
I like
best
that.
interest to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
the money split though is always going to be a big issue. Does that make
Yeah.
it make sense for them anymore?
and there's still no real satisfying way to get it all over to your Steam Deck either. I'm also still not. I'm not overly impressed with the quote unquote ease of getting EGS stuff to your game.
No,
to
it's
your
not.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's
It's still not great.
reliable. No,
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
how
even
I
try.
play
really
Kingdom
anymore.
Hearts, so it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I love how Epic Game Store just like refuses to load if your internet is slow. Like the storefront is obviously just loading a web page.
Oh, that
which is-
store's trash. Like
it takes a long time to get
it's-
anything
yeah.
working over there.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
happy
but-
to have it, but it needs a lot of
But
work.
Adonis Creed has robot arms, so you know I'm going to load it up and get going. I'm going to need my
Mhm.
Epic Game Store.
Is Rocky in Fortnite also? Or is it just Adonis?
I think
Probably
they had
just
Rocky
Adonis.
stuff in there.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe because like,
You beat Paulie.
could you
You
be
beat
the robot?
Paulie's robot that he
Yeah.
fucks.
And can you be the robot that he fucks? I hope so.
No, you can be Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos.
Well, I'd like that too.
I don't know that
Yeah, put-
reference. I never saw Sopranos.
Put
Me neither.
Paulie Walnuts in Fortnite, you cowards.
Yeah, he died, right?
He did just die.
Rip in
Big
peace, Polly Walnuts. Mike, before we move on from Wolong, could you? I know we talked about the first boss a little bit. Everyone is mentioning that 10-minute boss is like a big skill check. How was it for you?
I mean, I'm very good at video games, so I got I don't know, 7 tries.
Okay, that's
Which in a
actually
Souls like.
the people who've
Wow.
played these games that are pretty good at it are saying 6-7 tries. So
Yeah, I mean,
That
it's just
sounds right.
I mean, it's a skill check, but it is kind of just teaching you how important the parries are. Like that is how you're going to beat the bosses. There really is no other option, at least this early on. I know some people like are specifically bad at parries, and in a game like Elden Ring, you can make builds that do depend on parries. Maybe they depend more on blocking or depend more on rolling. This is definitely seems a bit more one track, at least right now. But I don't know, it was fine.
I got a I don't like parrying in games. I really am bad at it, but I got a fucking add-on for God of War last night that it makes the parry window much longer. Where I'm like not even in the same animation as these people. I'm still like parrying. The barbarians in God of War Ragnarok are just like fucking nightmares. So I really wish, because I've been playing also a lot of I used to recently was playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, and that had a specific difficulty slider for like making the parry window bigger. Which if I'm gonna try to play like a Sekiro or something like that, you got to give that to me. I can't play Sekiro. I can't do it.
So when I played Final Fantasy 16, and I also played that, I know you got
Does that have parries? You fucking kidding me? No.
So it has a lot of parries, but the way that game does difficulty, it's basically God of War. The way that game does difficulty is interesting because there's not really difficulty settings. Instead, you have a bunch of items in your inventory, like accessories. You know how accessories in RPGs +5 defense. There's also ones that you just start with that's like automatically do parries.
Oh, okay, good.
Automatically use health items when your thing's at a certain point. Stuff like that. So
they're like the Final Fantasy 12, like what's it call it? The automatic
Kinda like
AI
Gambits.
thing. Yeah.
Kind of like Gambits, but this is more literally like kind of a difficulty sort of not easy mode thing, but kind of an accessibility thing, kind of a difficulty thing, somewhere in between there.
Good. Don't get me started about parries. That's the only reason I beat Bloodborne, like, because I didn't have to parry. I never did. I just dodge rolled. Elden Ring, I built a shield build. That's what I always do in this game.
I did do a shield build in Elden Ring, and it was pretty fun.
I do not like parrying. I'm bad at it. So games shouldn't have anymore. They should stop doing
There you go. That's only fair.
So it's been written. Man, Minotti, you got Super Mario Land 2 here. 6 golden coins, a game very near and dear to my heart. What's it been like for you lately?
Yeah, I mean, that's a game I loved as a kid. And it was great as a kid, too, because it's relatively shorter. It was something that you could just beat multiple times. But it was also it's kind of like Link's Awakening, right? How Link's Awakening and this, they felt very similar to their Super Nintendo counterparts and how they felt. But also felt like they were able to kind of get weirder and wackier with it.
It's
like, there's like a level where it's just like things are themed to Mario. It's like Mario Land, everything's Lego blocks. And then you like fight the 3 little pigs. There's like a Halloween level where instead of Goombas, you have like Jason masks with a knife in them on feet walking around, right? This game
really went places.
Yeah, it has a lot of charm. It has like the space level. And, it's really pretty breezy until that last level, which is Wario's Castle. But at that point, you probably have 50 lives anyway, so it's okay for it to be a bit of a skill check. And the Wario fight's really fun. Yeah, I've always liked this game a lot. It still feels really good to play. The only thing it doesn't have on Mario Land 1 is music. The music in this one is okay, and Mario Land 1 has like an all-time great game soundtrack. But I've been basically playing all of these Game Boy Advance games on NSO. And it's so funny because I could have played these at any points on my analog pockets, on my Steam Deck with ROMs, or even original cartridges in a lot of cases. But there is just something about it being on my Switch, and I play on my Switch a lot, so it's just a good excuse to do this all again. And God, I am really excited for Metroid Fusion in a couple of days.
Why do you think that is? I have a theory, but it can't be as simple as this.
I want to hear your theory.
Well, my theory is just like it's the one within sort of like arm's reach that you've sort of like decided like that's the thing you want to browse on, like analog pockets or whatever, like they're very sort of like specific, I guess, where you're playing a Switch console game while you're there. While you went to the mall, you might as well go to the food court and see what's cooking there,
part of it is, so I beat Metroid Prime and I'm like, okay, I should go back to Fire Emblem Engage now, and like I'm kind of resisting. It seems like this big deal to like jump back into this big strategy RPG with all these characters and all this stuff I have to do. And just playing Mario Land 2 again kind of feels a lot more chill at night before I go to bed, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Very good. All right. I've been playing some stuff. I started one thing that I'm very excited about, but we can't talk about that just yet. So I'm going to talk about a game I've been playing for many, many weeks now. Or 3, Atomic Heart, because Atomic Heart for me, I started off, I was like, oh, this, everyone shut up in this game. Just shut your mouth.
God damn it.
Just shut your stupid mouth. Stop talking.
Stupid robot mouth.
I shit you not. I lowered the voice acting to like 10.
You mean the volume or this is not a verbosity slider.
I started walking away from those cutscenes. Like, you can't fucking skip them. I was like, I was just like, bathroom. I don't care.
I made it so low that like the two of them going back and forth, the Charl and the Schmuck just bickering, and oh my God, they're so stupid, these two idiots. I lowered all that, but I was really enjoying the very Bioshocky clone-iness of the first 10 hours or so, and then the game changes. It
for the
opens
better?
up. Well, no, not in my experience so far. I mean, I got to give it more time because the game sort of like teaches you a lot of things that you don't need to really care about until you get to this open area. And now the game is it still is linear, but it's with the illusion of like a more open space to kind of navigate through. And you do like, it's so funny because the whole time you're in the underground world to start off, you can't really use your map. You're being told that like there's recipes for all of the other sort of like weapons that you can craft, but you don't know where they are because you just can't like locate those places yet, because every time you open your map, it's like you're like it's just got an X through it. It's like it's classified. And then you get into the world and everything opens up and you're just sort of like, you kind of have to learn a whole set of new rules and parameters and like, oh, and then they do this like, security camera mechanic where you're sort of like getting into these like towers and controlling, gates and shit through all of these, closed circuit TV things. And the game just changes a lot. It's just, it's kind of a different game. So I'm not super, I guess I'm not super into where it's gone. I didn't rage quit, but I definitely like stopped playing sooner than I wanted to. I carved out two. You're
not alone in this. I've heard a lot of people say, "Hey, I really like the beginning, and then I cooled on a little bit, and then I really cooled on it because it just changed."
It just changed, and the difficulty sort of spikes, which is fine. I'm sort of just cheesing my way through what I got to do. But yeah, there's something about it where it's just not as much fun. Like the linear underground parts were fun. I was like, oh, I'm playing a BioShock game. I'm very happy about this. I love the suck mechanic. That's fun. I want to keep doing that. And then don't wink at me, Mike. And then everything else just got kind of weird, and I'm just not as in love with it as I sort of was with the sort of loop that it had created for me before. So I don't know. I've gone from like very warm to lukewarm on this thing, and we'll see where it goes. I'm gonna give it maybe 2 or 3 more sessions, and we'll sort of make a decision based on that. I did want to see this one through, but I was also not expecting this 180. So that's a bummer for sure.
Yeah, have we had many good BioShock likes since BioShock? I feel like Prey was maybe the best of them.
Prey was really good.
Yeah, I mean, Infinite. I really did not like Infinite that much, but when was that? That was 2013.
Oh, BioShock Infinite. That feels like forever ago. Yeah. That one's had such an interesting. Like when it came out, I was like, yeah, and then like almost the next day, everyone was like, actually, that was pretty shitty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got a strong start.
It does have a strong start. It really peaks with that barbershop quartet singing that Beach Boys song.
Yeah, it really does.
It's very strange. I mean, like, look, it was something different, I guess. Is the best way to maybe say.
Different.
And then it just sort of, I don't know. I think it lost its footing a little bit.
Yeah, the combat wasn't nearly as fun as the videos promised, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot changed in the development of that game, and it did, and it just it turned out to be something sort of not what we were expecting, and
having a Disney princess not as much fun. Like having a Disney princess as your sidekick, sort of escort character, was a weird choice.
What was up with those lighthouses? I didn't get that at all.
That was kind of the masturbatory sort of, I don't know, reference to the last
very backloaded narrative dump there.
Right.
It's kind of weird. So wouldn't it be cool if this was like kind of tied into the first BioShock after all, but not in any real like meaningful or like metaphorical or but just because of dimensions.
Yeah. Someone says there's always a lighthouse, and then no one goes, wait, why? There's no answer. There's no answer to why there's always a lighthouse. There just is.
2 times there's been a lighthouse.
Yeah.
That's not always.
Twice there's been a lighthouse and a White House.
I thought so Infinite had the Rapture DLC, the Return to Rapture DLC?
Yes.
Is that what? Okay. I remember that
was
being
a thing.
I remember that being okay.
I never played that. That was the one where they turned the Disney princess into a smoking hot mommy dom kind of thing, or like detective lady.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Or you're just remembering what you want to remember.
No, they definitely like.
No, I know. I'm fucking
turned up the red on the lipstick.
I know what I remember. I mean, literally smoking
the crimson.
Yeah,
the crimson. Yeah, that's not the only thing they turned up.
Yeah.
And then Minerva's Den was BioShock 2 DLC, right?
Yeah, that's what everyone likes. Minerva's Den.
That one
should play that.
Yeah, that's real dope. I have both of those remasters on my Steam Deck, and I go to them all the time, and they're still a hell of a lot of fun to play.
BioShock 1 was such a god. That demo back then was so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like that game came out like the year I started working in this world, and like I've not yet maybe hit that height again of enjoying the game into the level I did there. I guess that's kind of fucked up. and
Bioshock
sad.
Infinite was the first NDA I ever signed. So
Cool.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Were you? Oh, you weren't in New York. I remember going to that crazy event they had at the Plaza Hotel to debut
Ooh.
that game,
Yeah.
where they like turned a ballroom into like a Columbia carnival, and it was really.
Wasn't the point of the
pretty
game
wild.
that all that Colombian excess was bad?
Yes. Very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's good
But it's
marketing.
Marketing
Yeah,
doesn't
it was
know
something.
that.
Yeah. No, of
It
course
was
not.
definitely something.
All right, good.
Thank you, Jeff Grubb. I am going to talk about pinball, if just for a second, because
Please.
you know what? I'm getting to do a little hosting this week. So we're going
Ooh.
to talk a little bit about pinball,
No one
but
can
it's
stop
only
you.
rightfully so because 2 brand new games were announced in the last 2 weeks, which pretty neat. One game just today. Okay. So like, here's the thing. When they announce a new game, you're like, oh, what's the theme? Okay. But what you really care about is like the design, because some of the like fucking Twister has a pinball game and no one gives a shit about Twister, but like the game's kind of fun and it's got some weird quirks and you're like, all right, this game's kind of fun. There's a Back to the Future game out there where you're like, oh, a Back to the Future game. That's amazing. I can't wait to see how they use the theme. Turns out it's not so good and the game's not so great. So it really kind of doesn't matter what the theme is. It's more about the design. Twister's fine. I hate to offend all the horny Twister people in chat.
Does it
but,
have a
like,
twister in it? Like that
Uh,
spinning table thing that's supposed to represent a tornado? That'd be fun.
They definitely have like a turntable
Yeah.
for what it's worth. So Jersey Jack just announced a Godfather 50th anniversary game, which, like, you know, for me it's like, oh, I don't know if Godfather is like the most accessible theme for people to, like, I don't know, like you're in the arcade and like your kids with you and you're like, oh, sick mafia violence, like
Yeah.
let's play that as a pinball. But I think that, you know, as far as I can tell, it looks all right. I think they did a good job with the actual design of the table, which is obviously what the most important thing is. For me, it's like, I don't know how badly I want a Godfather themed game, but we're getting.
I know a
one.
lot of Italian boomers who would probably like to have that in their den
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Sure.
They get first crack at it. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole list of people in New Jersey and New York who are on the list first to get this game, and I get it. It's fine. I think it does
Godfather,
look
on this
fun,
day
though.
of your daughter's wedding, I would like to have a multi-ball. And he can't refuse it. It's the day of his daughter's wedding. He's got to give you a multi-ball.
this multi-ball.
Can't refuse a multi-ball.
So that's pretty sick. And then last week, Stern announced Foo Fighters is their next.
I
game.
did see this, and I was like,
Which-
I should ask Jeff Bakalar about this.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a gigantic Foo Fighters fan. I do think Everlong is like top 10 songs kind of ever. I think that song in a vacuum
Real
is
good.
fantastic. I'm just not a huge Foo Fighters fan, but that's okay. This game looks a lot of fun. So I'm going to be checking that out. I think I'll be getting one in hand pretty soon.
I like Foo
too,
Fighters
which is great.
songs when I hear them at like the end of a Marvel movie. When it's like they're in the credits of like
That's
a
disgusting. Yes.
Thor
There
film.
goes your
I'm
hero.
like, yeah, this
kinda
is
thing.
Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, this is where Foo Fighters should be. Like, yeah, this all makes sense to me.
There's just so many singles that they do have. For better or worse, like there's just a ton of songs. The theme of the game is like the Foo Fighters versus like an alien invasion. They kind of like made up a whole sort of cartoony storyline to tell through the game, which is, you know, seems fine. But yeah, I am excited. I am more excited for that one. I think it looks pretty neat. There's some fun stuff. So
Iron Maiden has a pinball machine. And that's pretty
They
easy
do.
because they have all their wacky covers and there's like they have a mascot.
yeah, Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like Eddie. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, you know, I have a few things to say to you about pinball, actually. Jeff
Oh,
just texted
okay.
me yesterday. There's a guy
Okay.
in a town very close to me who's amassed some massive pinball collection in Warren, Ohio. He's going to open up a museum / arcade later this year.
Yeah, in the
We'll have to go
spring.
check that out, Jeff.
Yes, we're gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was playing this local bar has a few pinball machines, and I was playing this one. It was really fun. and somebody was telling me it's apparently a very well-regarded machine. It's called Medieval Madness.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
classic.
it was a lot of fun because you got to like knock. You have to hit like the drawbridge, and then once it was down, you would go inside the castle, and the towers would start like banging each other. That was a lot of fun. But last question, the match, the pinball match. I think I've gotten one of those ever in my life. What are the odds on that? That has to be way less than actually 1 out of 10.
The odds are what the operator decides them to be.
It's bullshit.
So in the settings for all those games, you get to decide the percentage match. I think by default it's 9%. At least that when I get a game in, it's like the default is that. Medieval Madness is an older game, so it might be a different, default percentage.
Extra bullshit in it. Okay.
Yeah, but like, so I play at a place on the Jersey Shore on the boardwalk where the match percentage is something insane, like 35%.
Wow.
Like the guy
generous.
just, he like keeps everything a quarter and he makes matches 35%, and he's like known for that. So that's neat. But yeah, there's like yeah, you could do whatever you want on those things. All the customization, presets are there, and you just do whatever you want. But that match percentage is decided by the operator.
Okay.
There you have it. The Pinball Corner.
Like it.
Starring just me. Yes, Jeff Grubb.
I think that's going to bring us to Game of the Week. Game of the Week.
Very nice.
Very good.
I don't know if anyone heard that. They might not have
I heard it. It was
Okay,
great.
you guys heard it. Steam Deck is a year old, and I kind of wanted to see how y'all are feeling about it now. To me, that's wild that it's already a year old. It feels like the newest thing in the world to me still.
Well, I mean, a lot of people certainly didn't get theirs a year ago when they started going out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a year old for me and Jan, because we got one super early, I feel like, and that was really kind of it. But yeah, I'm still blown away by it. I'm still blown away as to like the new sort of uses I'm finding for it, especially taking it to places and plugging it into TV. Like, it's become this very capable portable console that the Switch is just sort of, waiting, at home. I don't take that with me as much anymore because of a Steam Deck. And I know you can't play the same games on it, wink, wink, but like it's different. And the Steam Deck solves a lot more, situational sort of like thing. So it's great. I love it. I was playing it a couple weekends ago, and I fell asleep playing it, which I thought was a new milestone, a new achievement I unlocked with that. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I agree, Grubb. The novelty has not worn off for sure.
I'm just at this point like waiting for a remodel. I hopefully by the end of this year they'll announce an upgrade version. I know apparently Grubb has said in the past like expects it to be much more expensive, but I feel like at this point I haven't had one now, and I don't really commute that much. I don't really travel that much, so having a Steam Deck has seemed like a little unnecessary for me. But if they do make I'm kind of surprised they didn't. Well, it would have been weird to announce one for Thanksgiving, like months after everybody had just got their first one. So I expect later this year they'll probably do some kind of upgrade. And
I think they'll probably do like a TikTok sort of thing. They will probably do a smaller version of pretty much the same hardware.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's interesting.
But I mean, at the moment, we saw that last September. That was the first flight I took in COVID. Me and Jan going up to Valve.
That's right.
To see that thing. So for me, it's even been like a longer.
That's right. Yeah.
I had it in my pretty little hands. It seems really, really cool, and I was really impressed with it when I saw it. I just didn't get the first wave, and I think I'm happy to wait for the second V2.
Yeah.
I think I like my Steam Deck a lot. I'm always impressed by it. I don't play it nearly as much as I should. I am kind of always in this mode of it's what I play when I'm out of things to play on my Switch, and I'm still very rarely out of things to play on my Switch. In fact, the backlog is getting ridiculous, and a lot of the things I want to play on my Switch are like these big RPGs that I'm falling behind on. Yeah. I got to beat Fire Emblem Engage. I got to start I haven't started Trails from Zero, and its sequel, Trails to Azure, is now like coming out. I think the reviews went up for that today. I wanted to get back to Tactics Ogre, and by the time, way before I caught up on that, here comes Tears of the Kingdom, and God knows whatever else. So Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know why, even though it's so much better than my Switch on so many technical levels, I still go to my Switch first.
I haven't turned my Switch on in like 3 years.
Wow, wow, you are not a Nintendo dog.
You know what I've noticed with Switch, not to derail the Steam Deck conversation, but like all of my Joy-Con batteries are fucked.
Yeah.
Like they're all just borked. They all, the second you detach them from the console, they go down to like 10%. You charge them and they're just like, they're out of whack. I don't know if it's
just
Joy-Cons.
I just got the new the Rorie Split Pad Pro minis. Not the full ones, but the ones that are lower profile. They're actually still pretty comfortable and they're really nice. I've been really happy with them. I also got the Nixie's GameCube thing finally. I know you've had yours for a while, Mike. The problem that I was worried about it actually did happen. The buttons are in a different place than the Switch, and so I go to play something like a Mario game I'm very familiar with, and I'm like, oh, this is different, and it's hard for me to reconcile that very quickly. So
the Split Pad Pro is the attachments that are sort of like console controller.
Yes, right. And then they have like ones that are like lower profile, it's basically the same thing. They're just a bit bulkier than a normal Joy-Con and a little bit smaller than a normal, just cutting an entire controller in half.
Interesting. I might have to check those out.
It was on sale the other day, so I picked it up and I was happy with it.
All right. But yeah, Steam Deck is great. I love it. I'm lazy with the other game, marketplace platforms, and I just want that to be like plug and play. I want it to just work, and I'm just not terribly interested in spending the time. And I know it's easy. I have EGS working on my Steam Deck. I just don't like how it works. You know what I mean? I don't like having to dick around with Proton versions.
It's a whole
thing.
And all experimental. It's like, dude, I just don't know. I don't know what's gonna work. I don't want to have to deal with coffee or whatever the fuck it all is. Like, let me play my games. I just wish that was a little better.
Yeah. You know what I want would help me a lot is I was looking for this and I couldn't find one. I want just a charging dock. Every time I look for Steam Deck docks, all I get are things that connect it to my TV.
You can do that too.
It can do that also, but I don't feel like I'm paying for what actually that's where all the money is. And all I actually just want is a little stand that charges my Steam Deck next to my bed, so I don't have to keep because it's I do play these things in bed, so when I'm done, it's very easy with my Switch just to kind of lazily slap it in its slot. Whereas the Steam Deck, I'm now I have to get out of bed. I got to find put the cable in it, and then I'm up. And then
even with the docks, you're gonna have to put the cable in because the cable goes in on top. So
right.
No matter what, it's gonna stick out of the dock, and you're gonna have to wrap it around the top and plug it in.
That.
So, get some duct tape and a very long 12-foot cable, and duct tape the cable with a bunch of slack to the side of the bed,
and then you get one of
Perfect.
those wrist bracelets that snaps on. You just snap it on, and it snaps right into the thing every time.
I got life hacks. So
he's got them. All right, very good, my friends. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to all the news that is fit to discuss on the Giant Bombcast. Stick around, and the four of us will be right back.
When it comes to hiring, you need to trust your gut. But what if you could give your gut some help? When you want to find top talent fast, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you could do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match assessments and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Yo. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get hit with a bunch of candidates whose resume on Indeed already matches your job description, and you can invite those individuals to apply right away. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows that when you're doing everything for your company, you can't afford to overspend in hiring. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/bomb. Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Yo, y'all remember the good old days of waking up with a bowl of cereal only to be reminded of the realities of today? Yo, you can relive all that guilt-free with a bowl of Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon has replicated your favorite cereal flavors to taste great, but contain 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and just 4 to 5 net carbs, so y'all can get your swole on. For y'all that are health conscious, feel free to spoon away because Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. At 140 calories a serving, it is magic. They've got 8 flavors available, so y'all got choices. Stuff like cocoa, fruity, peanut butter, and my favorite, cinnamon roll. All the homies and I love Magic Spoon. Got homies that love a bowl because they're on keto or being health conscious, on a diet, working out at the gym. I love it because it's a fun snack to have throughout the day. Head to magicspoon.com/bomb to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try Magic for yourself. And be sure to use our promo code BOMB at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/bomb and use the code BOMB to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I got in trouble.
What'd you do? What'd you do, Bakalar?
I think I scared everyone in the house with my yelling at the top of the show.
Ooh.
Me or you?
We have people visiting, and they're like, "This is what you do for work," and I'm like, "I just got real upset."
About? Oh, the
It's fucking healthcare.
That's right. Well, at least it was like about something important, and it wasn't about like the
That's
horny fridge and atomic heart or what have you.
That's what I said. I said, I'm yelling about for-profit healthcare, and they're like, "Oh well, yeah, you got a point there."
And then I yelled that I wanted to fuck a fridge.
Yeah, and then I yelled about this fridge that wouldn't stop asking me to like do things to it. It's all about holes. It's just all about holes
It's
at the
all
end of the
about
day,
holes.
folks. Holes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the video game news.
Yeah.
And for that segment of the program, we're going to toss it lovingly to Mr. Jeff Grubb.
Let's go.
Fucking go!
Imagine all news started like that.
Let's fucking go. This is CNN. Let's
Anderson
fucking
Cooper
go.
just like shaking violently.
Yeah.
I had 2 Red Bulls. Let's fucking go. Pokemon
died
Scarlet
today.
and Violet is deleting some people's save files. Let's just start. Let's get right
Doing
into
them a
it.
favor.
Yeah, really, it's saving them from playing that game. I agree. A Reddit thread has begun to compile stories from multiple people who've had their save files deleted by the newest Pokemon game. The issue seems to be pairing the game with Pokemon Go, a feature that Game Freak launched with the update at the end of February. Excuse me. There is no official word yet from Nintendo about the issue, and the advice from the Pokemon subreddit is to avoid the update where possible, but if you can't, definitely avoid connecting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to Pokemon Go.
They can't keep getting away with this.
I think they're going to keep getting away with it.
Yeah, they're definitely going to keep getting away with it.
Well, why is this game so bad? Why are they so broken?
I don't know. I'm like, it sounds obnoxious. I'm proud of myself for not playing it. I'm glad that I bounced off it real quick. I'm so over it. Like,
It's pretty wild that I like how you were serious. They do keep getting away with
They
it.
do.
20
Like,
million
and that's-
copies sold of this game. Bakalar.
It's just
20
so
million
unhinged.
copies.
Like, what? Like, we just accept it. It's all just accepted. Everyone's just like, no problem.
Yeah, don't ask questions. Just consume and buy more product. Right?
But I mean, even when people do like complain about something for Pokemon games, it's like, hey, we are criticizing you for not putting all the Pokemon in here. Welcome to Dexit. And it's like, oh, okay, now we're gonna sell more copies of a game than we've ever sold before. So it's like it doesn't matter. You say something, or you don't say anything, everyone yells, everyone doesn't yell. The games continue to sell.
It's the same analogy for literally everything in our consumer lives. It's just like we've all just been conditioned to accept bullshit, and everyone's happy with it.
But there's like a fall for things, like the Marvel movies, right? Like Ant-Man 3 is doing like it's doing good, but it's not having legs like it should and stuff like that. Like eventually when things are bad for a while, there is like a fall. I don't know. Maybe it has to be more than one in a row, but Sword and Shield also wasn't that great. A lot of people complained about that
They
one.
made 3 Ant-Mans?
We're on 3 right now. Yep.
What the
There
fuck?
are 3 Ant-Man movies. Yeah.
I love Paul Rudd, but also at the same time, simultaneously, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ant-Man 2 was really bad, so I'm not surprised to hear that Ant-Man 3 was.
Ant-Man 2 is real forgettable. Ant-Man 3's problem, I think, having not seen it, it's just that it's the most everything was filmed in front of that Unreal Engine screen thing ever.
It's been a lot of the criticisms. It looks like it was filmed on the volume because it was. All right. Xbox fires back at CMA yet again. One of the big concerns that the UK Competition and Markets Authority regulator has about the Microsoft plus Activision deal is the damage that could be done to Sony if Microsoft were to take Call of Duty exclusive. Microsoft is now saying the CMA is overstating those concerns. In an interview with Axios, Microsoft attorney Rema Aleli said that the company commissioned a survey that found only 3% of PlayStation players would switch to Xbox in the event that Call of Duty actually was exclusive to Xbox. Aleli said that based on that survey, Call of Duty is too small to hurt Sony's ability to compete and too small to make a withholding strategy profitable for Xbox. As we've been saying all along, and this is a quote from them, it makes zero business sense to take Call of Duty off of PlayStation. CMA, in its own study, previously found that 15% of PlayStation owners would switch to Xbox in the case that they had exclusive Call of Duty.
Did they really try and get away with the 3%, dude? Like,
right? That doesn't sound. It just doesn't sound right, right? Like it's
like even if you take the average and you land at like 8 or whatever the fuck it is, like it doesn't feel right. And also, like, part of this should also be like, have you played Call of Duty lately? Like, I don't know how much this is gonna matter. I mean, I realize it is still incredibly selling and whatnot.
Just like Pokemon, it's gonna
exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I have to imagine that survey question was like double negative or something in one case, and then phrased very differently.
They only asked Xbox owners who also own a PS.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it might be like it could be something along those lines, right? Like for only 5 or only 3% of people that own PlayStations, and they don't say, well, those people also have a PC, so it's a way you can play on your PC instead. So it's like, the question could be misleading, but I mean, either way, I don't know why Microsoft keeps doing stuff like this. This is the stuff that makes it look like they are being disingenuous, where it's like, oh, come on, we know it's more than 3%. We know that it's a bigger deal than this. You know it's a bigger deal than this, which is why you keep treating it with such you keep treating it like it's the most important part of the deal. That's what it seems like it is to you, because it's that important to everybody. So trying to pull the wool over regulators' eyes just makes it look like, oh, they maybe should do something about you, because it does look like you're planning something else here.
But I bet that's just like the strat they were given. Like that's probably, like I'm sure all of this is pre-vetted and this, right, where they're doing the playbook page by page, and it's just like, no, you got to come in real low.
Yeah.
Like an absurdly low, unbelievable number, and then I don't know, but I still ultimately don't think it's going to affect the outcome of this whatsoever.
Right. All the lawyers on all sides in this thing have been making absurd statements this entire time. Microsoft's the one under the looking glass here. It's like, if I were them, I would be making sure that everything I said was easy to back up and it just didn't have any of the stink of mistruth to it. So
yeah, it seems like things were swinging back in their favor anyways. I don't know why you kind of mess with it with something so nebulous like
right,
this.
And especially in a statement to Axios, a media outlet. It's like, this is not helping your case.
What's the true cost of this acquisition going to be after all of the legal fees and everything?
Right.
I mean, the lawyers probably. I mean, between all the lawyers, I don't know. Do they clear themselves just to clear like a cool billion?
So it was 69 billion. Now it's gonna be 69.69 billion. It's gonna be double nice.
Hell yeah,
double nice. How much you pay for that? Double nice.
Double nice. The good old double nice price.
The FTC is forcing PlayStation to hand over documentation and communications related to its third-party exclusivity deals, as well as other documentation. Microsoft has successfully subpoenaed PlayStation to get a huge stack of internal information from the Sony subsidiary. The judge found that the information Microsoft was requesting is relevant to the FTC's claims. The FTC is suing to stop Microsoft from acquiring Activision, and Microsoft's like, well, in order to know if we're doing something unfair, we need these documents from Sony. Sony said that isn't fair. We shouldn't have to hand over anything. And the judge and Microsoft gave Sony a chance to sit down and say, okay, we only need documents from this to this, and in this purview. Sony did not agree to sit down, and the judge found basically, well, in that case, you got to hand over everything Microsoft's asking for, except for in this the smaller time frame, which was like the one limitation that he said. Oh, also he said you can't get Jim Ryan's employee review, which I always thought was a very funny thing that they were asking for. So they're not going to get that, and they're only going to get the internal documents going back to 2019 instead of 2012. But this is going to be pretty annoying for Sony. This is one of the reasons these companies usually avoid these kinds of scenarios entirely. They don't want to have their lawyers going through all their documents and having the chance of putting them in contempt of court because they didn't hand everything over. Like, this is going to be a real hassle for Sony.
What is Microsoft going to find out here? Like, they're going to find out how much they had to pay for, say, Final Fantasy 16. Are they going to find out, like, if they did reach out to Square Enix about buying them? Is that something that's going to get out there?
Yes. I mean, likely if that stuff is in emails related to any of these things from Jim Ryan to his lieutenants about any of these sorts. Yes, that's stuff that Microsoft will now have access to.
Ryan's lieutenants.
Yeah,
right. I find that funny.
It's a funny concept. I think that this is likely all going to help Microsoft a lot because you know that those internal communications are going to reveal a sort of thinking that is not reflected in the way that Sony has been going after Microsoft here. Sony probably internally thinks getting exclusives is a very competitive thing to do, which is why they keep doing it. And that any sort of using their own words against them is going to help Microsoft. But of course, that assumes that we're still like in this situation of this being Microsoft versus everybody, and the case isn't settled before then, and we actually have to see these documents first. Like, I think it's very likely still that this stuff could get settled, and Sony never actually hands anything over by the time that happens. Let's see. Nintendo Switch successor may not have backward compatibility. This is from our friend MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, over on YouTube, causing a bit of a stink with this. He's pointing out that backward compatibility is not necessarily a given or like table stakes for the new Switch hardware or the follow-up to the Switch. In a video, he's the YouTuber and game developer noted that NVIDIA and Nintendo are likely to move on from the Tegra X1 chip that is in the Switch, and by doing so, Switch games wouldn't be playable without being recompiled. This is notably different than how it works with the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC recently, where at least going back one generation, the hardware was basically all the same thing, just more powerful. So you wouldn't need to recompile anything. Everything would just work. The Switch is not going to have that same advantage, likely because the Tegra X1, they were coding down to the metal on there. And so it's not like going to be just like one contiguous hardware family. Now, this is a problem for sure, and it's one that we've known about for a long time. Most people still assume that Nintendo's going to do backward compatibility. One, because it kind of feels like they have to, and two, because when they faced this problem in the past, they just solved it by putting old hardware in their new system. So the Game Boy,
they can just put that Tegra chip in the Switch too, right?
Right, just like the Game Boy Advance had the Game Boy chip in it, and the let's see what else, the DS had the Game Boy Advance in it, and the 3DS had DS hardware in it. Like, they've done that over and over and over again. That's the most likely scenario here, and the X1 is something the NVIDIA would be all completely incentivized to be like, okay, we'll make it cheap. We're not going to like charge you a lot to keep this backward compatibility, or we have some other way of solving backward compatibility for you. Nintendo's still working on NVIDIA with that. I expect them to come up with a solution.
I do wonder if they want a more permanent solution even, because then you have to start thinking, what about the next Switch or what have you? At some point, you kind of want things to be working forever. You can't always just include a Tegra 1 chip in these things, I'm assuming. I don't know. It just seems like we're just so far removed from that era of it being acceptable. It was a news story back when the Super Nintendo came out that a lot of parents were upset it didn't play Nintendo games. Mm-hmm. And back then you were able to get away with it. It just seems really impossible this time with whatever the next Switch is, which we expect to still be called Switch in some way, right? It's going to have a lot of similar branding and marketing. So it's just, I can't imagine people booing that up and not being able to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would love to read reporting from SNES days of like that. I would love to read something like that. That'd be awesome.
I've heard that a lot, but I've never seen like actual print. I mean, the whole thing was like, Super Nintendo should play NES games. I've heard a lot of people got mad and tried to bring it back, but I've never actually seen. There must be like news reports from the 86 like local news segment.
Yeah, there was like that's exactly what it was. It was local news segments where they would go ask moms at toy stores like, "How do you feel about this?" And you're like, "They're just trying to gouge us." And it's like,
what? What does that even mean?
It's this is something Nintendo has alluded to in its when it would talk to investors in saying that, hey, we are going to build on the momentum we have from our consoles going forward with the Switch in a way we have it in the past. So it's like, instead of resetting the generation, everything we've done to build stuff up, and stuff being likely like Nintendo Switch Online, but also like eShop sales and stuff like that. They're like, oh, we're going to build on that. So it's just going to keep getting bigger as we sell a new hardware. And so the suggestion there being they have some idea for backward compatibility in mind. Okay, is Valve making Counter-Strike 2? An NVIDIA leak has referenced a Counter-Strike 2 or a CSGO 2. Now people are finding references to CSGO in Dota 2's latest update. The reality here is that something is probably happening, and it's probably going to happen pretty soon, but it's not necessarily a CSGO sequel. It is the likely Source 2 replacement version of Counter-Strike Go. This is something that they've already done with Dota 2. I think when Dota 2 first came around, it was Source 1, and they've updated to Source 2. I think that's right. Well, they're doing the same thing to Counter-Strike, and people will probably get it soon. It just doesn't make sense to release a full separate game, right? An actual follow-up. They want to maintain that audience.
I mean, it's weird because no one ever talks about it. But you know what is still the top played game on Steam right now in terms of current players? It's Counter-Strike Global Offensive, 981,000. Dota 2 is second with 624,000. It's insane. No one talks about, but it's still this behemoth. So you don't do a hard reset.
Right.
No way.
Right. And it's, so the Dota 2 had its reborn update. Thank you, Dr. Heckle. So yeah, that's what they're doing here. And this is just going to enable them to make sure that it's, suited for the future, and it'll make it easier for them to do updates and things like that. And it'll get all of their teammate, their coworkers at Valve on the same code base essentially. And so they can have more interoperability. This is something that was going to happen eventually. Now it's here. So Counter-Strike 2.0 basically is what we're getting.
Well, I remember Counter-Strike 2.0. I think that came out in
Counter-Strike
1999.
Go 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, it is always so weird with me that, again, so many people are playing this game because this is a game I played a lot of in 1999, back when it was a mod for the original Half-Life. So it's just so weird to me that it's still just going. Some people even playing on those maps that I played on back then.
Yes, yeah, dude. I feel like Dust and Dust 2, right?
Yeah, those are still big, I'm sure.
Right?
Is there a Dust 3 yet? Did they do that?
No, there's too many Dust. You can't do another Dust.
So I was playing a lot of the original Half-Lives recently, and then yesterday, for fun, I just started up Team Fortress Classic, which even predated Half-Life by a bit. And that was my game. That was my first online first-person shooter, and there was one server with actual people on it, and just that was a weird trip. That was about as nostalgic as anything can get. Because it's not like playing some Mario game from the NES again. Because I go back and play that every 5 years. Here's something I haven't touched in 25 years. It was a weird feeling, man.
I'd like to go back to 1.6 and just see what that is.
Apparently it's still very popular. Regular ass 1.6, a lot of people still playing that.
I played that in college so much.
Right.
And I remember all the custom servers with all the custom sound effects and
welcome
stuff like
messages
that.
And the map rotation. 15 minutes till you vote on next map.
Yeah.
Gosh. I have a distinct memory of a Digimon marathon being on Fox, and I was just playing some map of Counter-Strike that was just doing the same map set in some tanker or something for the whole time. God, what a vibe that was.
Paradox announces Paradox announces a handful of games. The winter game mess is upon us with a lot of events this week. Paradox yesterday Playdate had one earlier today, and then Capcom's having one later this week, as well as a couple other smaller companies. But Paradox's event announced an Indiana Jones style XCOM like game called the Lamplighters League, a tactical game that has a lot of Indiana Jones elements to it. It's 1936. You
Sounds hockey. They're really bait and switching.
Yes,
here.
lamplighters. You hear lamplighters. And you think of you think of those gold scores out there.
That's actually blasphemous.
No guarantee that there won't be hockey in it. Well, maybe that's where that's called why they're called the Lamplighters League. They're like a minor league hockey team that their plane crashes and now they're treasure hunters. You don't know.
Exactly.
City Skylines 2 also announced from Colossal Order. This is them like making good on that promise of we are going to do a full sequel to City Skylines. They said City Skylines 2 offers the most realistic city simulation ever created, in which players can build any kind of city they can imagine and follow its growth from a humble village to a bustling metropolis. I think what I want from a city sim game is the most realistic one ever. I do think I want that now. There was a time where it was like, these games are getting too complicated for me. I'm like, actually, at this point, I want them to be as complicated as possible, and then I want them like maybe to scale with my desire for realism as I'm playing, and I think that's what they're setting up here. But you guys, we were talking earlier that this genre's having a moment. Are you guys going to check this one out?
Yeah, I don't know why I never did check out the first one. I kind of feel like I missed a trick there, but I don't want to be like that on this one. Although I want so many of these kind of games, right? They come out and people are cool on it, and it turns out everyone prefers the old one, which just had like years of iteration and patches. I think that's happening with Kerbal Space Program right now. It always happens with Civilization, right? Where right when the new one comes out, it's so much less content.
It happens with Sims,
like rich. I don't know.
Let's see. PS5 sales jumped 300% yet again after a massive year-over-year increase last month. PS5 had a repeat performance in February in the UK and the rest of Europe, as the shortage is now falling further into the rearview mirror. According to industry tracking firm GfK, PS5 sales jumped 316% year over year in February.
316.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to do this.
Hardware sales were juiced in part by demand for Hogwarts Legacy, which had a 100% bigger launch than Elden Ring did in the previous year in the UK. As for all of Europe, PS5 sales were up 5x from the same period in the previous year. Xbox Series S and X sales were up 13%. Nintendo Switch, meanwhile, saw a dip of 28% across Europe compared to last February. This sounds about right. PlayStation 5 was just completely nowhere to be found last year, and now they've solved that problem.
I can't believe how many people I just know anecdotally who bought a PlayStation 5 for the Harry Potter game.
Yeah, I mean,
really?
I guess it's just like a big thing. It was a big thing. It's a big event for a lot of people. And it's like, I guess it's delivering on the promises they always wanted from that franchise in video game form. So, yeah, I mean, 100% bigger than Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's wild. That's just...
Elden Ring was a huge game last year. If Hogwarts Legacy maintains anywhere near the same legs, it'll have, I don't know, 20 million copies sold by in the first year. That's pretty wild.
That's twice as many as Luigi's Mansion 3, which is
almost
the bar always.
Yes, Luigi's Mansion 3 is
the bar. That's how things are measured.
It's how we measure it.
It kind of is, because it's nuts. It's great, right? Like Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 10 million copies. That's
11 million now.
To me.
11 million now.
Which it deserved, every one of them. Every single one of them.
Yeah, and it's a console exclusive too. So it's like, man, this is console exclusives out. 11 million copies.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake sold like 5 or 6 million copies.
Yep. Yeah. So the Luigi's Mansion 3, twice as good. I
like both games.
Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda is stepping down. Square Enix is moving on from Matsuda. He will be replaced by Takashi Kiryu. Kiryu oversaw the NFT division. Apparently, Square's board was upset that Matsuda didn't go as hard into NFTs as they wanted. And boy, does that mean that's what what this new leader is going to do? Seems that way. But they have a lot of other problems to solve too. So it's like, I hope it's not just like, all right, NFTs are the solution to everything, because it's not.
No, like what? If you put NFTs in Forspoken, would it have suddenly been better?
Right.
I don't know. I thought we were moving past this. You had this. You have Dr. Disrespect's ridiculous little tirades recently about interoperability, as if I thought we were all beyond that. I thought we all realized how stupid that was.
Yeah, we are. He's just not.
What's going on? What is going on?
I know. This is so weird. Like, I thought when they announced this change that the other person would be like, maybe they're pumping the brakes on the NFT stuff, but no, they're going more and more.
They're quadrupling down.
Nobody gives a shit. I mean, nobody gets who's excited about NFTs?
No,
It's like
no.
a year past when they were hot, and I mean, all I ever hear about NFTs are people get all their apes gone, which I laugh. I admit, Schadenfreude is very heavy for me in the crypto.
Oh, yes.
Sure, that's
I
fair.
hate when hearing people like, "Hey, my husband got deep into it, and we have no savings anymore because that sucks." But I mean, if you're buying fucking $100,000 melting apes, then
JPEGs. Yeah.
I don't know. Square has been on a weird trajectory for me for a long time. Like a lot of their games have not really hit for me, in a big way. I hope Final Fantasy 16 is good. But yeah, NFTs are just I'd rather not buy a game involving NFTs at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still mostly good with Final Fantasy. At least for me, I know some people like wish it was a bit more old school or turn based like it used to be. I still like their Final Fantasy output for the most part. Then you'll have freaking Forspoken or Babylon's Fall or just these baffling decisions. You sell, all of Eidos and Crystal Dynamics for X amount, and then they turn around and sell just Tomb Raider for more than that to Amazon, right? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre, and I just NFTs and a game that requires you to parry stuff, then I am not.
They're
The
doomed.
worst combo.
Parry the NFT off.
I still would be shocked if Square Enix actually produces some kind of big NFT project. I just can't imagine one actually going through all the steps that they need to do to figure that out and ship it at a point where nobody is excited about that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like at Games Beat, there's a lot of coverage on this stuff because we cover business stuff. So we have to cover where money's going and where investment is going, right? And for so long, even when, like the enthusiasts were clearly not into it, investors were excited about it. Even that has really died down a lot. You don't hear them talking about NFTs or the blockchain nearly as much. There's still investments that happen. You hear about the metaverse still, like the other buzzword, but big surprise, AI is the new thing that they've all latched onto, which is at least a real thing. So it has that going for it.
Right. It's the thing. Yeah, the thing with NFTs continues to be. It's like, man, that was Dr. Disrespect's example. Imagine you found a $100,000 item in a game, and you had to extract with it in order to get it. I'm like, we could just do that now. And the difference is like if your account gets hacked, the company that runs that game, if it's not an NFT, they can do support, take it away from whoever stole it from you, give it back to you. But it's an NFT. The whole point is they couldn't do that. Why would you want that? No one would want that.
The other problem is also like having $100,000 prize like dangling in front of people. You're going to get people killing themselves trying to do whatever button they got to hit for like 24/7 to this one in a trillion chance at getting $100,000. I mean, I have a feeling that would lead to some very bad outcomes for the people who.
You just have to think about it for more than 10 seconds to realize how stupid.
Yeah,
it is.
That's literally it.
Yep. I remember when I was getting like really expensive items in PUBG there when it was at its height. It's like, oh, this thing is worth $140. I mean, it's Steam bucks, but you could turn that in real cash if you were determined. But it was like, oh man, that is pretty neat actually. But it's like if it goes beyond that, if it turns into like this outside market that is, it would be dangerous and weird. And I don't want to be thinking about that stuff when I'm playing my games.
Yeah.
All right, so Square Enix has to figure its shit out. Meanwhile, Mario Day is all figured out. Lego has a big reveal for Mario Day. It claims Mario Day is approaching. It's coming March 10th, as it is every year. As part of the festivities, Lego is planning to sell you something dubbed the Lego Super Mario YouTube premiere is happening that day, and they promise exclusive content and a big reveal by your host, Jack Gardner. That makes it sound like Jack Gardner's got something hidden that he's going to show us, but... so that event is happening on March 10th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, I've been pretty happy with the Nintendo Lego stuff so far. But I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think this could be? You guys think they're going to give us a Lego Mario?
Really? Because I haven't been.
What's the issue? What's your problem?
Well, it's through my kid. Like my kid just bounces off that shit in the way he does not bounce off Lego stuff normally. I just don't think.
Which thing is he building? Like the old NES? He's not going to care about that.
No. That's cool as fuck because that is a very complicated build for the most part, and it's a thing you put on a shelf. It's interesting. Talking about the level building kits and the fact that Luigi had to update over Bluetooth for 30 minutes
Got to update your Legos over Bluetooth.
You got to
now.
update your Luigi. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty stupid. Yeah, let's not play this for a half hour because who knows how much data has to wirelessly travel up Luigi's ass for this thing to work. I just don't understand. Like a half hour?
I mean, that sounds like the Nintendo Online experience to me, and it sounds like you just you're not down with the way Nintendo does internet updates. So you got to get used to
I took a screenshot and I tweeted it because I was like, there's no way people are going to believe me. So if you think I'm fucking lying, go look. It's It's just crazy. I think the stuff is really cool. I do like the fact that like they've got little cameras, under, and it's looking at the codes, and they're playing the music, and it's a whole sort of thing. But it's just not as satisfying.
I don't think the new thing's going to be one of those again. I think it's because the last big one they did was the Bowser, right?
Yes, I think it's gonna be something like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like he'll be like a Yoshi, or maybe the Super Nintendo now playing Mario World.
Yeah, like
that NES.
I would much rather create these sort of scenes than have, because like the thing with Legos is that they're fun. Look, the whole thing is building them, right? Like that's all it is. You can't play with Legos once you've built them. And if you do, you're like a masochist. You're just like this freak who just like wants to just have things break, and you put them back together, and you're like, what am I doing? This is terrible. So like all these Legos that are offered that are like designed to be like, you're gonna play with this Minecraft thing once you build, is like, no, you're not.
No.
You're just not. You're gonna do it. It's gonna break once, and then that's it. And
so you're siding with the dad character from the Lego movie. He had the right idea.
What is it? Fucking Lord Business.
Lord Business / Will Ferrell. Yeah, he was correct.
I just think Lord Business is the best fucking name ever. I love that so much. But no, I'm not, because it's like I realized he like crazy glued all that shit, and that was like, he was big.
It's a bit much.
He's a bad guy for doing that. But I don't know. I feel like I enjoy having the build. The building is what it's all about. I think it's super frustrating. I watch him and he's like, oh, I broke this McLaren that I built. I'm like, we can't put that back together, dude. We got to start over. Like, I'm sorry. I
was at a Lego store in New York when I was there for that Final Fantasy 16 preview event. They had all that stuff, but man, they have some super cool stuff. There's like one line that's amazing. They had like the McAllister house from Home Alone 1.
Yeah, it's sick.
And it had like his tree house, and it came with like all this amazing stuff. $300 or something. I just don't understand how we get to that price.
Lucy just bought some like Lord of the Rings thing.
She bought a token Miyamoto.
Did you get the Rivendell? Did she get the Rivendell?
She did.
Yeah,
yes.
I think she got that psychotically priced one.
$100 I still have my Forza Horizon tall neck that I haven't built at all.
I got my droid from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I haven't built. I have my half-built Seinfeld thing over there on my bar that I need to put together. So,
yeah.
Has anyone ever made like the documentary that sort of follows the process of like the engineering, like unpacking of how they do that? Like, I want to know how they put together the schematics.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff about master builders at Lego.
Yeah.
There's the Lego podcast and stuff. There's
relax. I don't know how.
I don't know.
All I know,
master builder made me laugh. Yeah. I know that.
I mean, listen. You guys ask questions. I give you answers, and you laugh at me.
I want like
here. What is this
25-minute documentary.
Here?
That's it. Right?
If you guys don't want answers, don't ask the question. I don't have to come here.
I'm not signing up for a Patreon.
Okay.
Fair. That's fair. Thank you. I don't know what I expected. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your apology.
I'm not sorry. I'm glad I laughed at you.
Detective Pikachu 2 is reportedly moving forward with a director in negotiations. Deadline is reporting that director Jonathan Krizel, known for work on Portlandia and Baskets, is in negotiations to take on the live-action sequel for Detective Pikachu for movie studio Legendary. Sounds pretty cool. I like Baskets. I like Portlandia.
Yes.
This could be cool. I know everyone says like the first movie ended in a really like definitive way. How do they follow that up? They'll mix something up. They'll just come up with something.
That's the easy. Are you kidding me? You know how flexible that shit is? Do whatever you want. Could undo all the events of that first movie with a 90-second clip.
Yeah, exactly.
Relax,
I don't think it'll
everybody.
be a direct sequel anyways. I don't think people like particularly love those characters or what have you. They like Detective Pikachu. I don't know if anyone remembers the names of the humans or anything like that. I bet it'll be something different.
Yeah.
What?
boy. His name was like Sun
boy.
Sun
I don't
Boy.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I thought that movie was okay.
Yeah,
It was fine.
it is. It's just,
I thought it was. I thought it was fine.
watched
It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was okay to watch once.
Yeah,
Should have been better. Should have been better. I have to go for my thing, guys. I'll be back in 20 minutes.
yeah,
We
no
have
problem.
fun.
I'm just,
I'll pick up slack.
Just gonna break the
Filters.
cameras, but oh well. We have
I'll
one.
start talking more.
We have one more news story here. Yuji Naka admits guilt in Square Enix insider trading case.
Yep, I did it.
Naka admitted there was no doubt he violated Japan's Financial Instruments and Exchange Act by illegally buying shares in multiple companies based on inside information. He made around $145,000 in profit, I guess, from this. He just pled, no contest essentially. So he's a guilty man. He's finally going to pay for his crimes.
I've always thought insider trading is like one of the I get why it's a crime but always like that, trying to prove that somebody knew something when they knew it always seems like such a difficult thing if they don't keep a really dumb weird paper trail. But
breadcrumbs.
I know it's like good for them to find out. Definitely like I would hate to these clowns in Congress getting their briefings on like Medicare and then investing or selling their stocks. Like these clowns in Congress. Can you believe that?
There we go.
Here's my radio. Here's my
You're doing your best Bakalar.
my talk radio bit here. These clowns. I got a tweet about them all day.
Rorie's breaking. I love it.
Go
I just
love talking about
What was that voice, though? Tell me more about the voice.
it's
a crank
radio
caller.
host.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's named like the guy calling. Can't believe these clowns in Congress. I mean, my leg fell off. They're not giving me my diabetes.
Yeah, listen, I don't want your leg to fall off, even if you are an AM radio host. Finally, an Xbox Series S toaster is coming. You're gonna get one.
Is it horny?
Dude.
I mean, you can put your dick in anything if you try hard enough.
Are people still using toasters, or is it all like we have a toaster oven? That's fine.
It's all digital now.
Oh,
You know.
It's all ball bearings now. Everyone's moved on from everything else. It's all ball bearings.
We got a Dutch oven the other day, and I'm using it right now.
That's just when you fart and put someone's head under a blanket, Rorie.
That's a fart thing.
It was not a Le Creuset like everybody spends $500 on. We got the Amazon Prime recommended one, but we're making some chicken stock in that right now, and I'm gonna have some soup tomorrow. Give you all the on my plans.
Is it like a big pot you plug into a wall?
No, that's a crock pot. That is a crock pot or a slow cooker
we have
or
an
an instant pot.
But I'm like, okay, then what is a Dutch oven?
It's just a little like made of ceramic. It's very thick and heavy. Retains heat. You can put it in the oven if you want to. It's oven safe. Works on our induction cooker. We're very happy about that.
What is it when you have a big metal casket pot thing?
That's a Cleveland steamer.
And then you dig a hole in the ground and you put a bunch of coal.
Oh, that's for birria or not that birria. That's for the pork. It's pork.
It's like a Hawaiian thing.
No, it's more Yucatan, Mexico. Pork and ground. It's a pork and ground Mexico.
Pork and ground Mexico.
Pork and ground Mexico is my favorite thing we did in Boy Scouts.
What is it called? It's fuck me, I forget.
I thought it was a Dutch oven and we made
quesabirria. It's not quesabirria. It's
we made strawberry cobbler or cherry cobbler. We made cherry cobbler in it, and it was so
yell
delicious.
At Yolanda. Hey Yolanda, what is it called when they put the pork in the ground in Mexico?
Bones also says I'm Dutch and I have no idea what he's talking about. And I'm thinking that saying Dutch oven is as racist as saying JRPG.
Pork Dutch oven, I can't not attach that to the fart.
It's barbacoa. She didn't say it.
Barbacoa. Okay.
Barbacoa.
We did not make cherry cobbler in a barbacoa. I know that much.
I was gonna say that's odd.
I'm also okay. So I think it's also called a Dutch oven. At least it wasn't Boy Scouts when we did it.
If you can get some barbacoa, I don't know it's pork, but it's
I order barbacoa at Chipotle all the time.
So good.
Yeah, he's cultured.
I'm cultured.
Chipotle after this, maybe.
All right, guys, cook some farts, and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. All right, we're gonna take one last break. And when we come back, we're going to get through some of these emails, wrap up the show in a nice little bow, and send you on your way. Stay tuned. The Giant Bombcast will be right back. Welcome back to the Giant Bombcast. Wow, Jeff Grubb, you've done some real good work.
Hi,
with-
I'm Mike Minotti. I like Disney. I wish Disney owned everything.
Mickey Mouse is more Oh, you do. Say Mickey Mouse is more recognizable than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mickey Mouse is more recognizable than Sonic the Hedgehog, Jesus Christ, and Joe Biden.
All combined.
All their
That's
powers
awesome.
combined could not take on Mickey.
And that's how he talks too. So this is even better. A big thank you to Jeff Grubb. Not only he puts together the news every week, but he also put together what I'm assuming is all these emails.
That's right. There
There it is.
Oh, I hope there's emails about apples. I love apples. Nom, 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 nom. Thank you, chat, for feeding me apples.
Delicious. Wow, we've got a nice little selection of emails here today. Let's do this first one. Grubb, take this Deccan in South Africa.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Let me see here. Okay. Alessandro from Johannesburg asks, not sure how aware you are about the decades in the making energy crisis that is currently gripping my lovely home of South Africa, but it's basically been months of daily scheduled blackouts with no end in sight.
Wow.
Choosing to try and stay positive, I've seen this as a good opportunity to play more Switch and, thanks to the kindness of a friend in LA, Steam Deck. While I have no issue finding great games for the former, I'm struggling to settle on the right games for the deck and would like some help. I think I'm done trying to scale back large modern games like Cyberpunk and Spider-Man, since I can't get over the concessions required to get them to run smoothly. So the plethora of smaller, less demanding titles is somewhat confusing to navigate. I would like to know what your best Steam Deck recommendations are that have kept you the most company or impressed you the most with how well it scales and how well it scales on the not so tiny handhelds hardware. I mean, I think my big thing would be don't get hung up on scaling back modern games. You know what? Hitman 3 is a really good game to play on the Steam Deck. It actually does run really well, and it's really cool to get a freelancer mode going. Now the question is, how does it work offline? Because I know it really likes to have an internet connection. If you don't have power, do you not have internet? I would look into it. Maybe just play the story mode. But Hitman 3 has been really good. Do you guys have any recommendations?
Yeah. I was fairly happy with the first God of War. I thought, for the most part, you do have to make a couple tweaks, but I thought that was mostly fine. So that's worth checking out. Chad is saying the Portal games run real well on Steam Deck, and I would endorse those as well because those two games are fantastic. So yeah, you're all set for at least like 3 months after what we just said. I feel like.
Yeah. For me, I'd go something like Noida is really good. I don't know how to play the mouse and keyboard though. I don't have a Steam Deck, so I'm just throwing out shit. Vampire Survivors, Spelunky is great on a lot of different handhelds because those games are pretty easy to play. But yeah, apart from that, I can't say that I haven't held a Steam Deck since we flew up to Valve to see one, so I don't really know. But there's a bunch of little smaller games out there, like Core Keeper and someone with the Core Keeper. That's the one I was thinking of. There's also another one recent, Dome Keeper. There's also Dome Keeper, which I get confused for Core Keeper, but any kind of good farm sim or something like that, you probably have a good time with that there Farm Island, the one with you put the plants in the ground. That one. I haven't played that one.
I had a lot of luck running Like a Dragon Ishin on it. That is not necessarily a super duper modern game because they ported it from PS3, PS4, and it runs really good on the Steam Deck. Some people mentioned Return of the Obra Dinn. That's good. There was that other puzzle or that other investigation game I was playing not too long ago that I was a big fan of. Now I can't think of it, but there's a lot of good stuff along those lines. You will have to kind of see how you are with each game. Just give it a try. But I don't know. Like a Dragon Ishin has had zero issues for me. That's a big beefy game. That'd probably be a good one to start with.
Hell yeah! All right, very good. Matt Rorie, you got the emails in front of you, sir.
I do have an email from Aaron.
Yeah, take from Aaron, please.
Aaron from Wisconsin. I've lived a long life gaming. Hearing about a lot of games, namely multiplayer games in recent memory, get shut down. It has me scrolling through my now 18-year-old Steam account, sighing. I think mine's about there too. Maybe 19. I think I have one more year than you do, Aaron from Wisconsin. So stop emailing me. kid, youth, and recalling all the great game multiplayer games that graced my screen, namely the ones that were great in their time and could still be great now, provided they were popular again. Games like Natural Selection, Tribes Ascend, Red Orchestra, Awesome Knots, and Orion Prelude, to name a few. My question for you is, what multiplayer game from days of old would you use your magical powers of hype on to make the servers absolutely jumping hot for 1 week and to selfishly have another go with for old time's sake? You know, I was going to say enemy territory, but that actually is pretty well populated even today. The problem when I tried to play enemy territory recently was that I had no fucking idea what all the buttons did anymore or what I was doing. I'll go back and say Quake 3 Arena. Team Arena. Quake 3 Team Arena, is that the expansion? That's one of my favorite
sounds right.
All-time multiplayer experiences. I probably am not very good anymore. Like, I really lost a lot of the twitchy kind of stuff. But with the armor in Quake 3, it's like nothing. It's not that, fucking Call of Duty, you die 2 seconds kind of thing. You have a little time and you can move around and jump around. Also, just, not a lot of games do really good capture the flag. Most games aren't built for capture the flag. It's one of my favorite fucking game modes of all time. And Quake 3 Arena is really amazing because you move so fucking fast. Like, I played a little capture the flag with the community in a Halo Infinite the other day, and they move so slow with that flag, dude. Just make it full speed ahead. That's my problem thing. I've never really played a huge amount of multiplayer stuff, but yeah, Quake 3 was I spent a amount of time on that in college.
I would be down for like just Titanfall 1 is like the first one, the first thing came to mind. You could still go get a game of those, but I would want it to be everyone's playing, so you could have like that full experience of running into people that are kind of new to it, people that are experienced, and I just feel like, it's the full Titanfall experience again. But also, go ahead.
Did they ever fix that Titanfall 1 multiplayer? Like, it was a hack issue or something where the servers were overtaken by hackers?
Well, that's the thing with a lot of the games that all those Call of Duties. You try to go back to an old Call of Duty on like Xbox 360 now, and every lobby is just like every gun fires 12 guns. And it's like, wait, what? Well, okay.
Well, Titanfall 1 had a noticeable, there was like a month-long thing where the people were complaining to whoever Respawn or whoever made it, and they're just apparently the game is like almost unplayable.
That's right. I remember that. I don't think they fixed it.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm like going for. It's like, it'd be nice if they could like go back and fix all that stuff and make it work. We got Minotti back. I'll fix the cameras here in a second. And then
no, twice as much Minotti for your pleasure. It's good.
Phantasy Star Online. I never played that when it first came out. I
played that. What you talking about?
We're talking about games that we wish were popping again with its online presence, so that you could experience them again in their heyday. I don't know. Do you have an answer, Mike?
Yeah, I kind of want to play Final Fantasy 11 just to see what it's all about. No. I think it's legacy servers. Well, it's mostly just from this thing that I can say I've played every Final Fantasy, all the numbered ones, and 11 I like barely ever touched it because it was sort of weird.
11 is really tough. Like, you really couldn't solo that game. You really had to start like around level 10. You really had to have a group of people to do anything, and I thought it was just like I don't like those kind of MMOs, but yeah, maybe. You never know.
I probably wouldn't like it. When I was a kid, there was a side-scrolling MMO. It came out like 97 called Castle Infinity. And boy, was that just the jam at the time. It was it was like you could like collect all these different cartoon body parts. It was a bunch of dinosaurs who were running the place. It had a lot of good music in it. Castle Infinity was good stuff.
I like chocobos.
Yeah, I do like those.
I know we talked about how CS16 is still popping somewhere.
Yeah.
But
someone pointed out you could play it in a browser now.
Wow. Oh, that's just silly, but awesome at the same time. I didn't play this on Steam, but I was a big Rainbow Six Vegas freak.
Oh yeah, sure, those games are good. Those games
360
really
one, right?
Yeah, and I think I played 2 a lot as well, but I definitely remember playing. Man, I dumped hundreds of hours into it was either 1 or 2. I'm assuming it was 1. Rainbow Six Vegas. It was like 1 map. Also, it was the only map anyone wanted to play. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, I guess it was just like the best one, but it was a casino where like you had I think it was either like defuse the bomb or whatever it was. But I dumped so many days of my life into that game. I would love just to like have it back, but also remember how to play. Because I feel like the caveat here is like, all right, you've got that game from 20 years ago, but you don't remember anything about how to
Yep.
play it or what you're doing.
It's tough.
You know?
When I was in the newspaper class in high school, we would always download the demo for Return to Castle Wolfenstein and just have like a LAN match. It's like 3 versus 3 people, and the only map was the Normandy Beach map, which was the only one you ever wanted to play. I played like dozens of hours of that game. That all I did was play that demo, and just if I could go back and just do one more round with those random 6 people again, that'd be a good time.
I gotta ask, how nerdy was newspaper class in high school?
Nah, not that nerdy. Like
Yeah.
we were mostly all just goofing around and playing computer games. There was very little work to do. You
Okay.
had to make one newspaper a month, and no one, you know. It was,
Were there any like type A types who were trying to get into Harvard and thought the newspaper would be like their best extracurricular?
I mean, there was a couple people. I think, from what I can recall, there were 2 people in there that actually got into publishing. I don't think
Okay.
anybody would have guessed I would be one of them.
I was in my newspaper class also.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was great. It was just
It was fun.
It was the last period of the day. There was this nice kind of buffer right before it ended. It was good stuff.
I remember it being like very mature
Real. That's the opposite of mine. It was very immature.
in a way. No, but like it was one of these sort of like lightning in a bottle situations where like everyone who was there wanted to be there.
Wow.
And the teacher treated everyone basically like 70s style like newsroom reporting thing. He might as well have been smoking like chain smoking.
You want pictures of Spider-Man right now?
Yeah, he was doing his best Jameson for sure. But the thing everyone wanted to work on was this sort of like I don't remember what they called it, but it was this list that made every issue where we were just like making fun of the campus. So like I forget. I think it was like you're a something on campus if you
Bakalar shit list. You're on it this month.
and it was just like 11 things that like happened that month in school that we were just poking fun at like dumb culture and trends and stuff like that. But that was fun. I just remember that being like.
It sounds like you guys published your bullying. Sounds like you're just bullying people.
That's all
but you gotta-
newspapers.
That's all newspapers. Fair enough.
Some would call us like 4chan before there was a 4chan. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Yeah, but no, I mean, it was all in like good fun and good taste. We didn't say like, if you're Doug Smith and you're a piece of shit, like that kind of thing. It wasn't
but
that.
Doug deserves it though. In my
He
opinion.
was he was a piece of shit.
Yeah,
so.
everyone knows that.
Yeah. No, my teachers were very immature. My one buddy was like the cartoonist for us, and he just drew some cartoon because everyone was complaining that some road bump at the school parking lot was too big. So he just like drew like a car teetering on it, and it was like really big. And our teacher's like, that looks too much like a penis. And like all like it's like filled with all these 16-year-old boys, and they were like, grow up, Mrs. Van.
Yeah, you're seeing what you want to see.
Right.
Do you want me to read this Gundam quiz, Bakalar?
Oh no.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna have good luck with it. Please take the next one, Mr. Grubb.
Okay, so Giant Bomb is a website with love of both anime and kicking rad characters' names. In kicking rad characters' names. So can you guess which of these names is a real character from the Mobile Suit Gundam series and which is fake? I'm going to need an answer from each of you. Number 1, Lock On Stratos. True or real or fake?
Fake.
No idea. I've never even.
He
I don't
is
even know what.
real, and he's from Mobile Suit Gundam 00.
Oh,
I was
this
gonna
is
say
be
real.
Such
Texas
a
Burning.
failure.
Real or fake?
Oh, he must
Fake.
be. Isn't there one where there's a tournament, right? So like with like all the people from across the world. So I bet that's real.
It is fake.
Shit.
Texas burn.
Jamatov Hyman.
What?
That's gotta be real. I think you said the second word wrong.
Hyman.
Hyman?
It says
Yes.
Jamatov Hyman.
It does say that. Hi, Mim.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. How's it going?
That's real. It's from Zeta Gundam.
Of course.
Okay, Biscuit Griffin. Is it
Real. I need
real or
that to be
fake?
real.
Biscuit Griffin. Is that Peter Griffin's like cousin?
Yep.
Biscuit Griffin is Iron-Blooded Orphans, so that's real.
Nice.
I saw Creed 3 this weekend, and there's a flashback scene. I think he had a Gundam in his bedroom.
Man, I wanted to skip to the good ones.
Look,
they're all
I'm
pretty
trying
good.
to tie this into something here. All
Oh,
right, I'm doing
sounds
my
good.
Okay, Chad Chadden.
Go to hell, Jeff.
I need an answer. Chad Chadden,
No,
real
you
or
don't get
fake?
one.
That's
I'm
fake.
not giving you one.
That's
That's fake.
That's fake. Wait, no. I'm sorry. Wait, no. Chad Chadden? No, Chad Chadden's real.
Yeah, only if you actually believe in him.
We'll do the next two because they're both good. Dork Dimly.
Fake.
What the hell, Jeff?
Oh, that is fake. Actually, we'll skip to, let's see, Dick Saucer.
I hope it's real. Please be real.
It is fake. And then Full Frontal.
Real.
Real.
It is real. It's from a Unicorn? Gundam Unicorn.
Okay, you're putting Rorie to sleep now.
One of these was, what's hero protagonist? What's that? That's from a book, right?
That's from Snow Crash.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy's
Vaughn from Northern Ireland. I liked your quiz. I'm sorry that Mike and Jerf were so rude about it.
I never watched any Gundam.
Rude. I don't know.
Sorry, they were so rude. I liked it.
We were sassy. We were just sassy.
Yeah, we're sassy boys.
Mike literally said it was putting people to
beat
sleep.
The shit out of you in Mario Tennis.
He said it was. Oh my god, it was very close. You guys got
was it
lucky.
or was it definitive?
It was luck.
It was pretty definitive.
All right, let's do this next one.
All right, Minotti, can you see these?
What are you showing me?
The emails. Can you read the next email called Yerb Facts?
Yerb Facts.
No, I don't know where these are.
Okay,
so they're in the rundown.
Bottom of the rundown.
Actually, yeah. I think I closed that. I better not read the next. Oh, here it is. Okay, which one am I reading?
Yerb Facts.
All right, got this from Toham. It says, last week you had a little segue about yerbs, and I thought I would share a few more facts with you. I'm from Argentina, where arguably...
What was that country?
Argentina.
It's fine. It's fine.
Look, I'm on the spot here. I'm working.
It's okay.
I'm getting through it. I'm from Argentina, not Argentina. Don't tell Christian. Where arguably Yerba mate originates. Jan did a great job describing how it's drank out of a gourd with a special straw. The gourd is actually called the mate, and the straw, bombilla. With regards to the yerba, it's an extremely bitter taste. Imagine green tea on crack. A lot of people will add sugar on top of the yerba to cut that bitterness, especially if they are first-time drinkers. There is even a cold brew type version called terete, where you let the yerba infuse in cold water with a little bit of orange or lemon juice. But perhaps the most important fact to share is that drinking mate is traditionally a social activity.
Mm-hmm.
You heat up the kettle, sit in a circle. Typically, the person who assembled the mate pour the first round for themselves. Then they fill it up and hand it to the next person in the circle. This goes on until everyone's had a couple rounds and feels ultra caffeinated. So maybe consider having a round of mate at the office so everyone can give it a shot.
It sounds dangerous.
My favorite thing about this is that you were literally murdering Christian in chat the entire time.
Murdering. I know I was. Sorry, Christian. I knew he was there. I knew he was mad.
My pronunciation's not great, but it's so I'm like, I'm not, I'm like, oh, I'm ducking on Mike, but it's mate, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it is
and
mate.
Bombilla.
Look.
No, I know.
You bullied me.
Listen, I have another thing I'd like to talk about. Whenever somebody tells me to try and imagine something like being on crack, sorry, I can't do that. I don't know what it's like to be on crack.
Oh, I thought you said I can't imagine because I've done it multiple times.
Because I'm on crack right now. No,
I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much for the email.
Yeah.
Mr. Rorie.
Hello.
You want to hit up Street Bomber 6 for us?
Jeff in Quebec City. It's Saturday night. I'm in a social setting and I need a bit of air. I'm thus outside and pretending to text my cousin who's excited about the upcoming Street Fighter 6. If Capcom had to create a new character based on you in Street Fighter 6, what would that character look like and fight like? Half serious answers only. It has a function within the game's context. P.S. My cousin isn't real. It's you. You're the cousin. My fighter would be like Dhalsim, but his dick gets big.
Wow. Very good.
Rorie,
That's
Rorie, why did you have that in the chamber ready
And why
to go?
would you assume Dhalsim's dick doesn't already get big?
There's
He doesn't
no
show
way.
it. He's very shy.
There's no way that is the only part of his body that doesn't elongate.
Yeah,
There's
it
just
all,
no way.
either all or nothing.
That actually has to go in order for it to go out. So it's like it retracts.
Oh
in his
my
body.
god, that's very uncomfortable to think about.
Rorie's
Oh.
character is just like sitting at a computer desk the entire time watching the GIF from that Street Fighter animated movie of Chun-Li in the shower.
Yep.
dick getting bigger or smaller.
Like desk tips over.
This implies that everyone who ever fought him in the back of their mind was just like, I wonder if his dick also does
that
this.
dick do?
I mean, it'd be weird if it didn't.
Everybody
else can.
I think it goes inside. I think he has an internal cavity that has to be filled up with flesh.
Okay.
Man, it actually is upsetting. It's literally upsetting my stomach to hear you talk.
We need a cross section of Dawson for sure.
A Cronenberg Street Fighter mashup.
Let's get that.
That's my character. I already took that one. So
my character would just be one of the people in the background of Dulcine's stage, just like you could tell looking at him, he's thinking about Dulcine's dick. So that's my character in Street Fighter 6.
I would be Ken because I'm strong and pretty.
Yeah. You sure you wouldn't like to mash up two people's last names and make that your character?
I mean, his name's Ken Masters. He probably already did that.
Yeah.
I guess whenever I like as a child would create fictional like fighters, it would always be like some sort of shadow person who bathes in the shade in the moonlight and is a sneaky boy.
Batman?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Batman hockey ninja, you know?
Oh, so you want to be Casey Jones?
Casey Jones, yeah.
But like dark Casey Jones, like shadow Casey Jones.
You can't get darker than
but he's got like
that's dark for a Canadian.
Pop. You know, yeah, he's got a lot of flair. Where like I'm not so much interested in the flair.
That's fair.
You know,
I
but like give me hockey Batman, and I'm in good shape for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take this next one. This comes from Jones in St. Paul. Grubb mentioned having seen True Lies on the Bombcast this past week. Did you know that this movie is not streaming anywhere? I do know that because it's one of my favorite action movies, like all time. It's hilarious. It's amazing. It's just very well done. And when I say streaming, I mean not with a service and also not paid. For all intents and purposes, you cannot watch this movie without a physical copy. Don't worry, we took care of that. After agonizing about this for years, I finally got drunk a few months ago and bought a copy on eBay for $10, and my wife and I watched it on Valentine's Day.
Listen,
incredible flick and a travesty. It's so hard to watch, which brings me to my question. What's a piece of media that was inaccessible for you to watch, and what extents did you go to in order to consume it? Thank you, Jones. So first thing that pops into mind is a movie from the mid-90s called PCU.
Oh yeah, I love PCU.
PCU is amazing. I think it also is like timely in a weird way more than ever. But I think
like references to PCU, and then it's never a good idea because no one ever knows what you're referencing.
What's your reference that you make to PCU? Because I'm the one that's going to get it now.
Yeah, I always do like when someone's like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm done doing that thing, and usually it's like someone like I'm done reviewing something. I think about the guy who's like, I could stop watching TV, and then he stands up and he gets the pins and needles in his
thesis.
leg. Yeah, this is my thesis. Yeah, and he gets to stand up, and it's like, oh man, that's anyone who's ever poop socked a video game.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, we'll have a PCU spoiler cast coming shortly. I would love to talk about that film in great length. So what I used to do before streaming was a thing was I would just rip everything from Netflix DVD rentals.
Yeah.
I would just
holy shit.
I would do it. So I had such a system.
Oh man.
Where I would work so fast. I described my workflow in great detail, maybe on like a Beastcast or something. But when I was living at home after college for a couple of years, I would rip 4 DVDs as soon as they got delivered into my mailbox.
Get them out before the outgoing mail goes. We had the same fucking system.
The mailman circled back, I put them in the opposite
We're
mailbox.
the reason they rate limited those DVDs after a while, dude. They started slowing everything down. And you're only like 5 DVDs a week. I did that with like every Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode was like because those were 4 episodes per disc and an hour per episode. But not Andromeda. Andromeda really sucked, but it was also only 2 episodes per disc, which is like why do you even have a DVD?
Man, the disrespect on Kevin Sorbo. He deserves it. But
what's your favorite Deep Space Nine episode, Rorie?
Here's the problem though. Living that life for like half a decade netted me out with a bunch of 480p versions of movies, which just
Those-
kind of sucks.
A
in
lot of work for
2023.
something that's not you're not really going to use anymore. But like,
For me, it was more like I wanted to marathon. I wanted to binge stuff before like
Yeah.
online stuff was, and I didn't have to wait like 3 days between like imagine waiting 3 whole days between Worst of Both Worlds Part 1 and Part 2, Star Trek: The Next Generation, when I actually had to wait the whole summer if you're watching that vacation. But
Right.
I lazy, and I also was fucking like very unemployed, so I was living at home, had nothing to do. They would deliver the mail like 11 a.m. I get on my bike to the house, and then I would bike. I'd rip the DVDs real quick and then bike to the post office and mail them back. And then, like, as soon as I think enough people did it where they started really having to rate them because it's cheap and easy.
They also nerfed the DVDs in a way. Like none of them had the special scenes or like the commentary.
Yeah, they
Like, that
did.
was-
They started. Yeah.
That was kind of like the one cool thing about DVDs was like deleted scenes
Yeah,
and you could
commentary
watch
tracks.
like weird versions of the movie. I did get my hands on at the very least a 720p version of PCU that hey, look, that's why people have Plex. That's why God invented Plex. Okay.
yes, I was going to say I got PCU in somewhat HD on my Plex, so I'm good. I included this question because I'm like, oh yeah, another James Cameron movie. I did some weird stuff to track down. The Abyss Special Edition. That's also famously not anywhere. James Cameron keeps saying he's going to put it out somewhere. I think there was an HD DVD version of like The Abyss, but not Special Edition. Someone apparently pieced it together from various Laserdisc prints and an Australian showing on Australian TV of an HD version of the Special Edition. And so I nefariously got that off of the internet, and that's been on my Plex for years. And I watch it about once a year. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
man.
I'm doing.
True Lies makes it into the rotation at least once a year. That movie, it's just the best. Sorry, I cut someone off.
That's all right. Somehow I haven't seen True Lies, and I want to, just didn't get to it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll like it. But me and my friend, we really liked watching like the bad movies together, and bad video game movies were always fun. Like I think we watched all of the Yui Bowl stuff, and then the bad video game movies based off the fighting games were especially good.
Yeah.
So when I knew there was a Dead or Alive movie, I really wanted to see it, but like they wouldn't release it for a very long time. It was one of those movies that was like in the can, but they couldn't get a distributor. But it did get released in Europe, I think, so it was out there. So my friend somehow got a uTorrent of it before it was even released here. We just had to like watch it off his like shitty laptop, like
Hell yeah.
on my bed. Man, that movie is a trip. I think it was the only fighting game movie where there's a scene where they have health bars for some reason. So I think it was my favorite one.
I respect that.
Is there a film in 40s of that? Because if not, we should make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it needs to happen. Finally, I guess we'll let Minotti take this last one about one Jeff Grubb and his classist mentality.
Yes. This is from Sam, who says, as someone who doesn't yet have a PlayStation 5, Jeff Grubb's comment about why would anyone play Elden Ring on PlayStation 4 made me cry. That's all. I hope you're happy, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff's a monster. He's a bad person.
I'm very happy.
Yeah. He's a terrible person. He's a classist. He's a mean jerk.
I think you're weird for not getting a PS5 yet. I don't care what your personal circumstances are. I'm judging you because I'm a classist asshole.
There you go.
I hate poor people. That's right. Yes.
Yep. He loves it. He swims in it, and he feels good being that person. Guess what, folks? That's going to do it for this episode of the Giant Bombcast. Again, if you want to send an email, bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's bombcast@giantbomb.com. Unless you're spamming us, please don't do that. We will be back with a brand new show, hopefully with a healthier Jan Ochoa when he makes it, hopefully back next week.
Feel better, Jan.
Feel better, Jan. Thank you so much to Mike Minotti. Thank you so much to Matt Rorie popping in this week. Much love to Matt. Thank you to Jeff Grubb. I am Jeff Bakalar. That will do it for the program. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful conclusion to your week. We'll see you next time.
All right. Anything else I need to do here?